To let CNN fillet him, CNN will reportedly put on more Trump campaign surrogates in the months to come. And it's not just CNN. Last month, Trump...
Boy, he's upset. CNN's going to cover the news. There's a guy running for president who might become president, and CNN are going to interview those people.
That's bad journalism. You only interview people I like.
You're only supposed to interview people we like, and you're supposed to censor everybody else. This is what he's upset about, is that CNN plans on covering the leading candidate for president in the Republican Party. That's what he's upset about. Oh, this is Himmler shit, man. This is Goebbels stuff. This is crazy.
This is that guy in Rwanda who was like, cut the tall trees. That's what he is.
What's popping? What's popping, my friends, my family? What's up? What's up with you guys in the chat? I see Zoya is love. Zoya is love. Zoya is life. What's popping, my friends and family? I was bored. I had Nick and Night scheduled, but my guest rescheduled. So I was about to watch the Trump town hall. But I was like, shit, I might well do a live stream reaction. Oh shit, they about to start. But what Jimmy said was hilarious. They just doing the intro there. Because I'm gonna show you guys some liberal meltdown as they do the intro filler. Some examples. Let's see if I can pull some up. Because I did a segment on the same exact thing of the liberal cope and panic. Because, like, imagine being afraid of giving a platform to someone like Donald Trump. Don't worry, I'm gonna big screen this here later. But I'm gonna show you guys this. I explained to you guys when we did our segment of liberals melting down over Trump's town hall that they are afraid because they don't want Trump to pull the whataboutism, which he will use to destroy the Democrats like he did last time. Remember when he was accused of rape and he brought Bill Clinton's rape accuser there? He exposes their hypocrisy, even though he's exposed as well. So look at this tweet. We get to the video. CNN town hall is a mistake. Trump, a superb propagandist, is built for such occasions. He has primed the public with victimization, witch hunt narratives. So the reason why you guys are afraid people to hear from him, because you guys know a lot of the things you guys are charging Trump on is 100% political. You guys don't want to hear you don't want people to hear any other opposing opinion, even though he's a leading candidate for president. All right, damn, the video starts. Let's get started to the video.
So that you were dominating the Republican race right now, but you were also under active federal investigation for trying to overturn the 2020 election results. Your first term ended with a deadly riot at the Capitol, and you still have not publicly acknowledged the 2020 election results. Why should Americans put you back in the White House?
Because we did fantastically. We got 12 million more votes than we had in as you know, in 2016, I actually say we did far better in that election.
Hillary and Democrats
the most that anybody's ever gotten as a sitting president of the United States. I think that when you look at that result and when you look at what happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience, and maybe a couple that don't, but most people understand what happened. It was a rigged election, and it's a shame that we had to go through it. It's very bad for our country. All over the world, they looked at it, and they saw exactly what everyone else saw. You look, even if you just look recently with the 51 intelligence agents, that made a 16-point difference. If you look at the FBI, if you look at the FBI and Twitter, they call it Twitter files, made a big difference. If you look at
Mr. President, back to what you just said there, though, it was not a rigged election. It was not a stolen election. You and your supporters lost more than 60 court cases on the election. It's been nearly 2.5 years. Can you publicly acknowledge that you did lose the 20?
Now, I don't believe the MAGA talking points that this election was rigged against Donald Trump. Like, these capitalists, they have no reason to rig this. I don't see the evidence of that. But it's hilarious how Democrats pretend Trump is uniquely evil for denying the results of an election, even though Hillary Clinton and Democrats loudly proclaimed that Russians stole the election from Hillary Clinton. I gotta be careful because I don't want to get my channel pulled. But I remember it was common knowledge that when you look at the 2000 election, George W. Bush stole that from Al Gore. So you can't even say that anymore, according to these people.
2020 election.
Let me just go on. If you look at True the Vote, they found millions of votes on camera, on government cameras, where they were stuffing ballot boxes. So with all of that, I think it's a shame that what happened. I think it's a very sad thing for our country. I think it's a very sad thing, frankly, for the world, because if you look at what's gone to our country has gone to hell. Our borders are bad. Our military has been bad. You look at the taxes, you look at inflation, what's happened to inflation, it's just destroying our country. We've really become, in many ways, a third world country. And it's very sad what's happened in this administration. And it's something that will turn around one day.
See, I would say we are a third world country because the record amount of poverty, massive income inequality, millions of people are homeless, 70,000 plus Americans die each year because they don't have health care. Our infrastructure is rated as an F. Majority of Black and Latino people feel like their water is being poisoned because our infrastructure is so bad. That is what I would view as a third world country. But it's funny that Trump is like, we are a third world country because I didn't win the office of the most powerful position that there is. It's pathetic. Anyway, I'll continue.
Day one, we were energy independent. Now energy is at a level that we've never had to pay before. Nobody can afford to continue to pay what's happening with energy, but we were energy independent. We were getting out of Afghanistan with strength and with dignity, and instead we got out, we looked like fools, probably the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
We have a lot of questions about the economy and foreign policy tonight, but what you just said there, Republican officials debunked those claims about fraudulent ballots. We want to give you a chance tonight.
Who?
Republican officials in Georgia and every single state. There is no your own election officials, Mr. President. So we wanted to give you a chance.
People were afraid to take on the issue, but we have a big problem in this country. We have
we wanted to give you a chance to acknowledge
we have
the
elections
results
that were horrible. If you look at what happened in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, if you look at what happened in Detroit, Michigan, if you look at what happened in Atlanta, millions of votes, and all you have to do is take a look at government cameras. You'll see them, people going to 28 different voting booths to vote, to put in 7 ballots apiece.
So, Mr. President, I have to stop you there because there is no evidence of that. Your own election officials testified to that and have said that Republicans in these states did this. In Georgia, there were multiple recounts, including a hand recount. We have questions about the claims that you're making tonight from voters on this topic. I want to bring in Scott Dustin from Concord. He works in insurance litigation. He's an undeclared voter. That's what they call independents here in New Hampshire, as you know. He did vote for you in 2020. Scott, what's your question for the president?
Hi, President Trump. Welcome back to New Hampshire.
Thank you.
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Will I suspend, excuse me, what?
Will you suspend polarizing talk of election fraud during your run for president?
Yeah, unless I see election fraud. If I see election fraud, I think I have an obligation to say it. And you know what we went through a short while ago has really put.
This is why CNN is garbage. Imagine you have a chance to ask Trump any question. This is the person that is leading candidate to be president, the person who was just president, and this is the question you ask him? Fuck out of here. I am a strong believer that these questions are planted. No one can convince me otherwise.
Our country in a big problem. I hope to do that. I hope we're going to have very honest elections. We should have voter ID. We should have one-day elections. We should have paper ballots instead of these mail-in votes. But the answer is yes, and I hope that it's going to be very straight up, because if it's going to be straight up, we're going to win the election.
So you will suspend talk to his question about the 2020 election on the campaign trail?
I guess we're going to just win. We're at a point now. We're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this. When you've talked about the 2020 election results in the past, you once suggested terminating the Constitution. Do you stand by those comments?
No. You were able to do certain things. I'm not talking about terminating the Constitution. I'm talking about cherishing the Constitution. The Constitution says that we're supposed to have legal and well-maintained and well-looked-at elections, and we didn't have that. I cherish our Constitution, but we have to live up to the Constitution. We weren't living up to the Constitution.
I was just saying there's no evidence of that election fraud. You did once tweet.
You're supposed to say that, but I'm glad you say that. But look,
that
was a horrible election. That was a horrible election. And unless somebody's very stupid, and I know you very well, you're not stupid at all, but you perhaps are given an agenda, or you have an agenda. Look, we have to have honest elections in our country. We have open borders. We have
honest elections means I must always win.
You look at what's happening. I mean, we have elections, we have open borders. Look at what's happening on our southern. Millions of people. They're being released from prisons, being released from mental institutions. And we have millions of people pouring into our country. And now they're getting rid of Title 42, which I put on, which kept people out that were sick. And
Mr. President, we have a lot of questions about immigration to get to tonight. Obviously, that's a big topic, especially given what's expected to happen tomorrow. But I want to talk about the influence you have over your voters. It's very clear that you are very influential over them. You have a lot of impact. I've been to many of your rallies and seen it up close, which raised a lot of questions about the influence that we saw that you had on them on January 6th and your supporters when they attacked the Capitol. Do you have any regrets about your actions on January 6th?
I can't wait to hear this answer, but CJ, my brother, brings up a great point. This will be CNN's best rated show in all 2023 and 2022. So this is why CNN was super excited to do this. And this is why, despite all the backlash they got from shit lists, they're like, bro, we can't wait till Trump get back into play, man. We've been dying over here under Biden.
Well, you know, January 6th was, again, we go back to it, but January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't see the pictures very often. A lot of the people here probably were there. January 6th, it was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building. I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people. I've never spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart. That was an unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day. And what I was asked to do, I wasn't involved in it very much. I was asked to come in. Would I make a speech? I made a speech. I said, walk peacefully and patriotically, you know, many different things. In fact, I brought a list of things. I don't want to bore the audience, but we can go sentence after sentence after sentence of things I said and things I put out. One of the big problems was that Nancy Pelosi, Crazy Nancy, as I affectionately call her, Crazy Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington were in charge, as you know, of security. And they did not do their job. They're not in charge of the National Guard. You're in charge of the National Guard. Well, I offered them National Guard. I said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down. And in fact, she turned me down. She turned me down in writing. They turned me down.
But your acting defense secretary, Chris Miller, at the time, he says you never gave a formal order to deploy the National Guard. But when it came to that day,
just the opposite. Chris Miller wrote a book, and he's a fantastic guy, and he was ready to go. They turned him down. If you look, the mayor of Washington, D.C., lovely lady, she said, we don't want it. We don't like the look. Nancy Pelosi said, oh, we don't like the look. If they would have had I offered them 10,000 soldiers. I said, it could be 10, it could be more, but I offered them specifically 10,000 soldiers. If they would have.
Hey, CJ, man, I think you're right, man. Dude, Trump was horrible, like in terms of verbal dialogue in 16 and 20. Dude, imagine Trump debating Biden now. Like, Trump is extremely well coached right now. I don't agree with anything he's saying, but I see way more focus. I see a much more game plan, battle hardened Trump now than I seen in 2016, 2020. Let me know if you agree in the chat. Like, Trump has his talking points, like he's super ready to go. And as CJ and Harlan's media saying, he controlling the conversation. CJ said he believed there's no way Biden could beat Trump. And then when you see this, and when you see the fact that Biden's afraid of the press, he don't hold press conferences, he stumbles all the time, and Trump is about to fuck this guy up, man, if they debate. Unfortunately, we all know Trump is a liar. Everything he says is a lie, but everything Joe Biden says is a lie. So it's going to be a competition between two liars, right? And then it's going to be whoever the most persuasive, whoever the most charismatic liar, and Biden about to get tossed. So, CJ, you might have been right, dude.
Taken 500 soldiers, you wouldn't have the problem. They turned it down. And if you look at the Inspector General report, he says they turned it down. They made a terrible mistake.
Well, Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary. He says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day. You said you weren't.
He did not say that.
He has testified that, Mr. President.
He did not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Do you guys think that Trump was cooking her? Leave a comment. Do you like? I'm trying. Like, I see this conversation. It seems like this is not going well for her. But tell me what you think, guys. Tell me what you think.
So if you look at on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay. I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look, January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
we
taken
did report
down.
it. I was reporting that
it was taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not being peaceful, you saw them rushing the Capitol, breaking windows. They were hitting officers with flagpoles, tasing them, beating them up. When it was clear they weren't being peaceful, why did you wait 3 hours to tell them to leave the Capitol? They listened to you like no one else. You know that.
They do.
Sooner.
Nancy Pelosi and the mayor are in charge. I assume they were able to do their job. They weren't.
But
And
Pelosi's
it
not
kicked
in charge of Capitol
And if you remember,
security.
I made a video right outside the Oval Office in the Rose Garden. And I'm very proud of that video. I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in there right now.
The video, it came out much later after they had already.
So I don't like Trump. I find him deeply unimpressive. But the reason why I think Trump is destroying her, I see a lot of people agree in the chat, is because the only people who's going to listen to this liberal reporter and be influenced are other liberals. There are no one on the fence. There's no independents. There's no one who don't already buy into every single Democratic Party dogma that's going to say, oh my God, January 6th, oh my God, this bullshit. No one gives a shit unless you're already a Democrat. That's why this town hall is not going to be effective. It is funny. Let's continue. I'm going to keep my interruption minimal, guys.
It was a great video. And it was a beautiful video. And it said, I mean, I don't want to read it all, but you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people of law and order. We love the people of law and order. We can't play into the hands of these other people. We have to have peace. Please go home. Now, I said that.
Referring
you know
to
what
the
they
law
did?
and order there,
They took
Mr.
that
President.
down. And you know, to this day, it hasn't been put up. And the reason is it's so good and so conclusive that all of this nonsense and all of that
Now you guys see why
millions
they're
of
scared.
dollars that have been spent are just wiped away with this one. And they've never put it back up. They had another one that they did the same
But that
thing.
video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
They
you,
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was
Mr. President.
posted,
4:17
yeah,
p.m.
actually a little bit before that.
Right. So that's my question.
Excuse
Because
me.
in that 3 hours, over
Excuse me,
140
it was
officers
posted
were
after the
injured.
first one I just read, though, and that was at 2 o'clock.
But I think
Now, she seems so desperate because generally in these town halls, you're supposed to interview them. She knows she is getting cooked. So she's overcompensating. She's talking more, like she's trying to talk more than the candidate. She's trying to talk more than the candidate because she knows she's being cooked, man. This is not a good look. This is going to be bad for her career. Like, liberals going to be very mad at her after this.
I think the reason the timeline is so critical here, because going back to your influence, in
Here's
that
another
3
one I
hours,
posted.
over 140 officers were injured that day.
And a person named Ashley Babbitt was killed.
Yes.
You know what? She was killed, and she shouldn't have been killed. And that thug that killed her, there was no reason to shoot her. At blank range, cold blank range, they shot her. And she was a good person. She was a patriot.
One
There was
person
no
who
reason.
there,
There was no reason. And he went on television to brag about the fact that he killed her.
the officer was not bragging about the fact that he
Oh,
killed
he
her.
was
But
bragging.
one person who was at the
He was
Capitol
bragging.
that day, as you know, was your vice president, Mike Pence, who
Ah.
says that you endangered his life on that day.
I don't
Do
think
you
he was in
feel-
any danger.
Mr. President, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
Bruh, this is why this is gonna Democrats, if this is their strategy, they are fucked. There is not a single independent, not a single working class person who gives a fuck about Mike Pence. You guys really you guys gonna lean on this? Oh my God, Mike Pence was afraid. Vote against Trump. This shit is not gonna fucking work, man. Jesus Christ.
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really do.
But he doesn't have the authority to do that, as you know.
What?
The vice president does not have the authority to reject
Are you ready? Let's
those
have this
election
one out
results.
just now because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. He made a mistake. His lawyer said, you cannot move. I called him the human conveyor belt. I said, even if the votes, I talked to his lawyer, even if the votes are absolutely fraudulent, he can't say, yes, sir, he can't send back. And the Democrats played it and the rhinos played it. And then the election was over. They told him he couldn't do it. And Mike said to me, I can't do it. The lawyers told me I can't do it. They can't do it. But the lawyers were wrong because right after the election, they all met, the rhinos and the Democrats, and they worked out a plan to make sure that future vice presidents don't do what I said you could do.
That's not what happened. You're referring to the Electoral Count Act.
That's
I've read that. There is no authority.
No,
legal
excuse
experts,
me.
including Republican legal experts, say that he does not have that authority, Mr.
Caitlin,
President. But I want
why
to move
did they
on.
change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because they were worried about
Oh, they
presidents
strengthened it,
exploiting.
meaning you could do it. Thank
That's,
you.
that's not what it means.
Thank you.
They strengthened the law
Mike
because
had
they were
the right
worried.
to do it. They convinced him he didn't, and it was a horrible thing for our country. If you would have sent those votes back to Georgia, Pennsylvania, and other states, Wisconsin, which if you look at Wisconsin, they've virtually admitted now that the election was rigged. If
They
you
have
would have
not
sent
admitted
those
that,
votes
Mr.
back to
President.
many of those states, they would not come back in the affirmative. And remember what I said, and you just said it pretty much. You admitted what I said was right.
I
They
did
said he
not.
didn't have the right to do it. And he did have the right to do it. And that's why they changed the law, taking that right away.
I should note that your campaign paid for a recount that happened in Wisconsin. It actually had more votes for President Biden by the end of it. But I want to move on to Wayne Byer. He's a retired attorney from
By the
North
way,
Conway.
so
who
many
is-
illegal votes were cast in Wisconsin. And if you look in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they had so many illegal votes, they didn't even know what to do with them. You're absolutely wrong
Mr.
about
President,
that.
there weren't any fraudulent votes in Wisconsin. I do want to get to the audience, though. We have questions for you from the audience. Wayne Byer is a retired attorney from North Conway. He has previously served in Republican administrations. He volunteered for the Republican Party in the 2022 midterms. He voted for you in 2020. What's your question for the president, Wayne?
Thank you for coming, Mr. President.
Thank you, Wayne.
My question to you is, will you pardon the January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal offenses?
I am inclined to pardon many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, you know, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you look at Antifa, look at what they've done to Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed. These people, I'm not trying to justify anything. But
this is because the police, and I was there, I covered the George Floyd protests on the ground, and this is what the corporate media on both sides don't tell you. The cops in all these situations escalated violence. And we have caught multiple agent provocateurs, white supremacists, infiltrate movements, bust up buildings, start violence, and then the right-wing media apparatus say, oh my God, look at all this violence. This is because the Antifa thugs. No, it's the police that engage in the violence and a ton of agent provocateurs and some criminals who are not even part of the movement. Anyway, let me continue. I keep my interruption short, guys.
You have two standards of justice in this country. And what they've done, and I love that question, because what they've done to so many people is nothing. And then what they've done to these people, they've persecuted these people. And yeah, my answer is I am most likely, if I get in, I will most likely, I would say it will be a large portion of them. You know, they did a very, and it'll be very early on. And they're living in hell right now.
So when it comes
they're
to
living
pardons,
in hell. And they're policemen, and they're firemen, and they're soldiers, and they're carpenters and electricians, and they're great people. Many of them are just great people.
Mr. President, one of the people who was convicted was a former policeman, but he was convicted of attacking a police officer, I should note. But when you said you are considering pardoning a large portion, of those charged with crimes on January 6th. Does that include the 4 Proud Boys members who were charged and convicted of seditious conspiracy?
I don't know. I'd have to look at their case, but I will say in Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either.
Speaking of New York, I want to ask you about a significant verdict that was reached yesterday. I know this is something you want to weigh in on as well. A Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this, but what do you say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up.
Woo!
Okay.
God damn.
I think I'm
God damn.
I'm the only person in history who had a charge like that. And usually you leave office, you say,
God
I'm sorry,
damn.
but I'm going to back home. I'm back home to my family and everything. I'm going to be resigned. My poll numbers went up, and they went up with the other fake charge too. Because what's happening is they're doing this.
Once again, guy, I cannot emphasize this enough. This shit doesn't work on me. I am looking at the voters. I am looking at the independent voters. Like this, that's a practice line by Trump. They already knew how to answer that. And this is the kind of shit that fucking liberals gonna be seething at. This is great. Maybe I'll continue. Sorry, guys.
For election interference. This woman, I don't know her. I never met her. I have no idea who she is. I had a picture taken years ago with her and her husband, nice guy, John Johnson. He was a newscaster, very nice man. She called him an ape. Happens to be African American.
Hey,
Called him
CJ,
an
don't
ape.
talk too
The
much
judge
shit, man.
wouldn't
You was
allow us
right.
to
I
put
get
that
it.
in.
You was
Her
right.
dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wouldn't allow to put that in. All of these things. But with her, they can put in anything. Access
This
Hollywood.
was a jury of 9 people who found you liable of sexual abuse. Do you think that will deter women from voting for you?
No, I don't think so, because I think the whole thing, just so you understand, right?
Before I finish this answer, liberals keep pretending Trump has this problem with women, but Trump won white women. You guys know Trump won the white women vote 2 elections in a row. In fact, he got more white women to vote for him in 2020 than in 2016. This whole women hate Trump thing is not true. Now, black women, Latina women hate Trump, but women in general, white women fucking love him, man. You guys are out of your mind.
Ready? I never met this woman. I never saw this woman. This woman said, I met her at the front door of Bergdorf Goodman, which I rarely go into other than for a couple of charities. I met her in the front door. She was about 60 years old, and this is like 22, 23 years ago. I met her in the front door of Bergdorf Goodman. I was immediately attracted to her, and she was immediately attracted to me. And we had this great chemistry. We're walking into a crowded department store. We had this great chemistry, and a few minutes later, we end up in a room, a dressing room of Bergdorf Goodman, right near the cash register. And then she found out there are locks on the door. So she said, I found one that was open. She found one. She learned this at trial. She found one that was open. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes, you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President, can I
No, but
add to this?
think of it. Think of it.
I know you're recounting what she said, but Mr. President,
Let me just, if I could, because you asked the question.
This was a
just so
jury,
you understand,
though.
if I was walking in at the because I was very famous then, and I owned the Plaza Hotel right next door, and I owned buildings around it, I'm not going into a dressing room of a crowded department store. Then I say, if she was being raped, and by the way, they said she wasn't raped. Okay, that was her charge. It wasn't.
they found that you sexually abused her.
What? Say what they did. They said he didn't rape her. And
They did
I
not
didn't
say
do
that he
anything else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr.
I don't
President,
know who this woman
can I
is.
ask you, given your recounting
I
your
don't know
version?
who, and I tell you this.
But Mr.
Are
President,
you ready?
can I
And I
can
swear
ask
on
you
my
because
children who try.
I think Trump got way better, man. Trump used to be awful at this, in my opinion. I used to think like he was so bad, dude. He's ready for fucking everything. He's more prepared than the reporter is. This crazy, man. In my opinion, I think Trump was a deeply incompetent moron. Especially in 16 and 20, he only won because Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden was so bad. But now it's different. This motherfucker is a refined politician now in a way he never was before, and that is extremely dangerous to the Democratic Party.
I'd never do. I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story, made up story. We had a horrible Clinton appointed judge. He was horrible. He allowed her to put everything in. He allowed us to put nothing in.
Mr.
This is
President,
a
you're
fake
recounting your version of
story.
events here right now to the audience. You referenced the trial. You did not go to the trial and actually
That's right.
testify. Do you wish that you had
No,
testified?
it wouldn't have made a difference. This was a rigged deal. This was my lawyer said, sir, you don't have to do it. I actually said, I think I should. It would be respectful. They said, sir, don't do it. This is a fake story and you don't want to give it credibility. That's why I didn't go.
One thing you did do in this.
And I swear, and I've never done that. And I swear to, I have no idea who the hell, she's a
Mr.
whack
President,
job.
you did not testify in person in this trial. There was a tape deposition of you from October, and you defended the comments that you made on that Access Hollywood tape about being able to grab women how you want. Do you stand by those comments?
I said, if you're famous and rich or whatever I said, but I said, if you're a star, you are, and I said, women let you. I didn't say you grab. I said, women let, you didn't use that word. But if you look, women let you. Now, they said, will you take that back? I said, look, for 1,000,000 years, this is the way it's been. I want to be honest. This is the way it's been. I can take it back if you'd like to, but if you're a famous person, if you're a star, and I'm not referring to myself, I'm saying people that are famous, people that are
You were
stars.
asked in the deposition.
People that,
And I covered this with CJ last week, where liberals for literally years keep misrepresenting this quote. And I said it before, this quote is embarrassing for any politician. But liberals keep pretending that Trump said that he walk up to women and literally grabs them by the pussy. No, what he said was, if you're rich and famous, as shown by people like R. Kelly and many other famous celebrities who believe they can get away with whatever they want, he said, when you're rich and famous, people love you so much that they allow you to do whatever they want to because they giving you consent to do that. Now, he used the grab him by the pussy joke because it was a joke. It was an obvious joke, and liberals pretend that he said it as a statement. But anyway, let's continue.
that are
Consider
rich,
yourself to be a star, and
people
you
that are
said yes.
powerful, they tend to do pretty well in a lot of different ways, okay? And you would like me to take that back? I can't take it back because it happens to be true. I said it's been true for 1,000,000 years, approximately 1,000,000 years, perhaps a little bit longer than that.
So you stand by those comments?
Well, I don't want to lie.
Mr. President, we have a lot of
here's what
questions.
she wants
Mr.
me to
President,
say.
let's
A
get to
rich
the
and
audience
famous
questions
person
tonight.
has no advantage over anyone else. Well, you do have an advantage. And I say unfortunately, but that's the way it is.
You said fortunately or unfortunately,
Well,
but Mr.
fortunately or
President, we have a lot of
unfortunately for
audience
her.
questions to get to tonight. I want to go back to the audience. We've got Danielle Rieger. She works as an oral surgery assistant. She's a Republican activist from Derry. She was a New Hampshire delegate for you in 2020. What's your question?
Hi, thank you so much for coming to New Hampshire
Thank
to
you.
answer our questions. My question is regarding the economy. Over the past 2 years, we have seen the prices for everything skyrocket. From food to gas to utilities and insurance costs, many people's bills are up several $100s a month, including mine. If elected president again, what is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Not
Drill,
a goddamn
baby,
thing.
drill. You know about that. So we were energy independent. We were soon going to be energy dominant. And nobody had ever done what I did. We got oil down to $1.87. Actually, it fell lower than that in some cases. We had to
He's
save
not
the
going
oil
to do a
companies.
goddamn thing,
The
guys.
price
Do
was
not
getting so.
believe it.
We were doing incredibly.
Not a
We had the
goddamn
greatest
thing.
economy in the history of our country, probably the greatest economy in the history of the world. We were energy independent, soon to be energy dominant. We were going to be bigger than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together ×2. We have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation. And these stupid fools ended it. And energy went from $1.87 and even
How is it going to stop corporations, especially big oil, from price gouging us? Capitalists always try to ignore the fact that capitalism exists via price gouging. Trump is not going to do shit. I got to make that clear.
lower for gasoline, for a car. They went from $1.87 to $5, $6, $7, $8, and even $9. And your electricity bills went through the roof. Your heating bills went through the roof. And
Look at
that's
the
what
comment,
started
too.
inflation. And it hasn't
Look at the comment.
stopped because people are paying now for bacon and for eggs and for the 2 and 3 times what it was just a little while ago. We created the greatest economy in history.
No,
big
he
part of
didn't.
that economy was got you the biggest tax cuts in the history of
No,
our country.
he
Bigger than the
didn't.
Reagan cuts, bigger than any.
What the fuck did that mean? Now, Oh, fuck. No, I keep playing. Sorry, guys. I'm about to lecture you, motherfucker.
Caitlin, also, as you know, we got the biggest regulation and regulatory cuts. This place was rocking, and then we were.
I'll be real quick. When Republicans say that we lower their taxes, most of the time they're lying, by the way. But Marxists, we believe, like, if you say you got lower taxes, but people rent is taking 40% of their income. You have food prices that's insane. You got all these prices. That's a tax. The fact that people got to pay a healthcare premium is a tax. You guys understand? All right, shut the fuck up now. Huh?
Given a gift from China, and China paid a big price. And let me tell you something. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes from China. But prior to COVID coming in, and then I rebuilt the economy again, a second time. But we had, prior to COVID coming in as from China, from Wuhan, which I said it came from Wuhan. Everybody said, oh, you're wrong about that. You're wrong. It came from Wuhan. I said it right from day one. So we had the greatest economy in the world. Here's the story. They made energy so high, and energy is all invasive. It is massive as an industry and as a cost. It lifted everything. If you made donuts, if you made, no matter what you did, and we had inflation, the likes of which I guess we haven't had, they said, for 52 years, but I think more than that. We had no inflation. We had the lowest energy prices we've had in decades. This country was rocking and rolling. And by the way, we had the most secure border in the history of our country.
Mr. President, we have more questions on the economy. I want to make sure we get to all of those. As you know, the U.S. right now could be just 3 weeks away from defaulting on its debt. That could mean millions of jobs lost, people not getting their Social Security payments. People believe it would put the U.S. economy into a recession. On that topic, I want to bring in Marta Cervella, a student here at St. Anselm. She is an undeclared voter who did not vote in 2020. Marta, what's your question?
Hi, Mr. President.
Hi,
so my question is, what do you think about the United States' current debt situation?
Never
and how
mind.
can we move forward?
You're not based.
Such
What
an
the
important
fuck are you worried
question.
about
So
debt?
we're at $33 trillion, a number that nobody ever thought possible. When we had our economy rocking and rolling just prior to COVID coming in, like literally, we were making a fortune. And oil, we were going to make so much money from oil, we were going to start paying off debt. But then with COVID coming in, we had to do other things. We had to keep this country alive because it was so serious. But we have to get the country back. We have to lower energy prices. We have to lower interest rates. Interest rates are through the roof. Energy has to come down. It all has to come down, and we have to start paying off debt. But when we have a debt limit, and they use that very seriously at me, they came in, Schumer came in with Nancy Pelosi, and they were using it. We'll violate it. We'll do whatever. They talked a whole lot different than they do right now. I say to the Republicans out there, congressmen, senators, if they don't give you massive cuts, you're going to have to do a default. And I don't believe they're going to do a default because I think the Democrats will absolutely cave because you don't want to have that happen. But it's better than what we're doing right now because we're spending money like drunken sailors.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans are demanding?
You might as well do it now because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. Our country is being destroyed by stupid people, by very stupid people.
You once said that using the debt ceiling as a negotiating wedge just could not happen. You said that when you were in the Oval Office.
That's when I was president.
So why is it different now that you're out of office?
Now I'm not president.
The U.S. defaulting would be massively consequential for everyone in this room, for all Americans.
You don't know. It's psychological. It's really psychological more than anything else. And it could be very bad. It could be maybe nothing. Maybe it's you have a bad week or a bad day. But look, you have to cut your costs. We're spending $7 trillion on, much of it on nonsense. $7 trillion on nonsense.
We've got another question from a voter tonight.
Get all of that money that was wasted, and frankly, the Senate should have never approved it. Get all that money that was wasted, and if they don't get rid of that, you'll have to default. Okay?
Mr. President, we've got another voter here tonight.
And by the way, you're going to default eventually anyway, but it's going to be much messier. I don't think you'll have to default. I think if the Republicans hold strong and they say let's say we want $5 trillion off. I really think the Democrats have no choice but to do it. And if I win, they're going to be doing the same thing to me in 2 years. I guarantee you that.
Mr.
They're
President,
going
we've
to
got
play a
another
very
voter
hard
here
ball game,
tonight.
and they did that before.
Bobby Petrino has been waiting very patiently.
Sure.
He's a student at St. Anselm. He's a member of College Republicans. He's an undeclared voter right now. He supported you in 2020. Bobby, what's your question for President Trump?
Hi, thank you for coming. This is a bit of a pivot, but with gun violence and mass shootings in the news cycle recently, I'm worried that state governments and the federal government are going to act to repress gun rights. Under your administration, you instructed the Department of Justice and the ATF to ban bump stocks. If elected president again, how would you act not only to defend our Second Amendment rights, but to restore rights that have been taken from us, such as, by example, recently the ATF's ruling on the pistol stabilizing braces?
Yeah, as you know, the bump stocks are actually a very unimportant thing. And NRA, I went with them and they said it doesn't mean anything. Or actually, all they do is teach you how to shoot very inaccurately. So we did that. There's been nobody that's protected the Second Amendment, as you know, like I have. I protected it through thick and thin, not easy to do. But we have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our Second Amendment. We have to protect our Second Amendment.
Mr. President, you dealt with a lot of mass shootings when you were in office. This year, there have already been more than 200 mass shootings in 2023. If you are reelected, are there any new gun restrictions that you would sign into law?
I would do numerous things. For instance, schools, we would harden, very much harden. And I'm a very believer. I believe in teachers. I love teachers. I think they're incredible. And they love the children, not quite like the parents, but they love the children in many cases almost as much.
I heard
many of these teachers are soldiers, ex-soldiers, ex-policemen. They're people that really understand weapons. And you don't need 5% of the teachers would be more than you could ever have if you're going to hire security guards. But in addition to that, have security guards. You have to harden your entrances. You have to make schools safe. And you can make other places safe. But it is a big mental health problem in this country more than anything else. And remember, we have 700 million guns, 700 million. Many people, if they don't have a gun, they're not going to be very safe. I mean, if they don't have a gun, it gives them security. Now, you need them for entertainment. You need them for hunting. You need them for a lot
Now, I agree with Trump and Republicans when they say it's a mental health issue. The problem with capitalists is they never ask themselves the question, what's causing these mental health issues? It's the policies that you guys implemented. You guys are creating despair in this population because of the policies of the ruling class. They always just skirt by that part.
Different things. But there are people that if they didn't have the privilege of having a gun in some form, many of them would not be alive today. You know, there is a certain country that had a very strict policy on guns, very, very strict.
Which country?
And, Brazil, okay. Brazil, very strict. And the former president of Brazil, and the killing was incredible. They were walking into people's homes and killing people. They had no protection. He said, go out and buy guns. People went out and bought guns, and it went way down. The numbers went way down because they had security. If you look at Chicago, Chicago has the single toughest gun policies in the nation. They are so tough you can't breathe. New York, too, and other places also. All of those places are the worst and most dangerous places. So that's not the answer.
No new restrictions that you would sign if reelected, Mr. President. I want you to meet Julie Miles, a registered nurse from Merrimack. She's a Republican who voted for you in 2020. Julie, what's your question for the president?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I appreciate you answering this question this evening. How do you plan to appeal to women voters in New Hampshire who are concerned about the Dobbs decision and how states may change their laws?
It's such a great question, and it was such a great victory, and people are starting to understand it now. You know that they wanted to bring it back to the states, but that was probably the least important part of that victory. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was an incredible thing for pro-life because it gave pro-life something to negotiate with. Pro-life had absolutely nothing being stuck in Roe v. Wade to negotiate with.
Is not pro-Trump.
And now what's happening, and I see it all over, deals are being made, deals are going to be made. And look, everybody that was president wanted to get rid and tried to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
You mean
for 50 years. Republicans. For 50 years, this has been going on. Actually, a couple of Democrats too. But for 50 years, this has been going on. I was able to do it, and I was very honored to do it. But by doing it, things are happening that are very, very positive. And I happen to believe in the exceptions, the life of the mother, rape, incest, like Ronald Reagan believed in the exceptions. But I happen to believe that. I think it I think it's frankly important to do that, but a
Damn,
lot
you
of
were
people are
pro-choice most of your life.
against that. A relatively small number. But the
So
way
let me
I
ask
the way
you-
I look, I think it's very important to say this. I consider the other side to be radical because the other side, under Roe v. Wade and other things, the other side, they're radical because they will. Remember the debate with Hillary Clinton? I said, rip the baby out of the womb at the end of the 9th month. They will kill the baby in the 9th month. If you look at that crazy governor of Virginia from the former governor, where he said, no, the baby will be born, and then we'll decide essentially whether or not to execute
But
the
Mr.
baby.
President, can we talk about what you would do if
No,
you
but these are the radical
Y'all
people.
talk about
It's
foreign
not the
policy now,
pro-life
please?
people that are
But
radical.
if you are reelected and you're
That's
back
what
in
I'm
the Oval
looking for.
Office and you get legislation to your desk, would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
What I'll do is negotiate so that people are happy. But the fact that I was able, I'm so proud of it. We put 3 great justices on the Supreme Court. We have almost 300 federal judges on the Supreme Court.
So just to be clear, Mr. President, you would sign a federal abortion ban into law.
I said this. I want to do what's right. And we're looking, and we want to do what's right for everybody.
But what's right?
But now, for the first time, the people that are pro-life have negotiating capability because you didn't have it before. They could kill the baby in the 9th month or after the baby was born. Now they won't be able to do that.
But I think this is a really important question for you to answer because this is something every Republican, including those who are running against you for the nomination, are being asked about is would you sign a federal abortion ban into law?
And many of them are going to give you the same answer as I am. First of all, I am honored to have done what I did. And a lot of people said in 150 years, he's now the most consequential president because he saved so many lives. And I'm honored to have done it. And because of what I've done, we now have a great negotiating ability. That's what I do in life. I negotiate. We have a great negotiating ability, and I think we're going to be able to get
But what do you
something
mean
done.
negotiating ability? Because the question that Republicans have, and some of your allies on Capitol Hill say that they want to introduce legislation when it comes to banning
They're all
abortion.
crazy,
If they
brother.
send
They're
it
all
to your
crazy.
desk, would you sign it?
Some people are at 6 weeks. Some people are at 3 weeks,
Where's
2
President
weeks.
Trump?
President Trump is going to make a determination what he thinks is great for the country and what's fair for the country. But the fact that I was able to terminate Roe v. Wade after 50 years of trying, they worked for 50 years. I've never seen anything like it. They worked, and I was so honored to have done it. We are in a very good negotiating position right now, only because of what I was able to do. And remember this, again, you talk about radicalism. People that will kill a baby in the 9th month or the 8th month or the 7th month or after the baby is born, they're the radicals, not the pro-life.
I just want to give you one more chance, though, because you did not answer whether or not you'd sign a federal abortion ban or how many weeks into pregnancy you believe abortion should be banned.
Yeah, but I've given
answer either
I've
of those
given you
tonight?
the answer probably 4 times already.
Which one
I'm
is it,
looking.
though?
I'm
You haven't
looking at a
answered.
solution that's going to work. Very complex issue for the country. You have people on both sides of an issue, but we are now in a very strong position. Pro-life people are in a strong position to make a deal that's going to be good and going to be satisfactory for them. If you weren't able to get rid of, you wouldn't even be having a discussion. If you weren't able to get rid of Roe v. Wade, which put pro-life in a dead position, a horrible position. They could kill the baby at any time they wanted to, but we did something that nobody thought was doable. And other Republican presidents, and others, by the way, they wanted to get it out. They also wanted to bring it back to the states, but bringing it back to the states is a less important issue
But that's why
than
it's
the
the
issue that
question
we
about a
just talked
federal
about.
abortion ban. You
Well,
did not say yes or no to that.
It
You did
depends
not say how many
it
weeks.
depends what the deal is. Lindsey Graham's
You did not say
a
how
good
many
man.
weeks.
He's got an idea, and a lot of other people have an idea. And I look at all the
And
different
a lot of people
ideas,
will
and
be curious what
I'll
your
make the right
idea is
decision.
on that. President Trump, we've got more questions to come for you tonight. We'll
Make
be
the right
right back
decision for the
in just a moment.
Nick, she clearly is out of her league.
Yeah, I want to hear what
But
you have to say,
watching this whole time, what I'm seeing is that what I think happened, because you have to, how I look at it is that everything is a choice. They're choosing to pick her and everything, and why she's wearing white. Maybe she's supposed to be reminiscent of what Nancy Pelosi or something like that. But
angel. She's an angel.
yeah. So what I think is happening is that they thought, let's put him up against a young looking woman.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
This is gonna, and then if he's yelling and going off, how is that gonna appear against a young looking woman. Like this is I think this is the person that looks the youngest on the network. So this is them making a move that they thought that it was all dependent on his reaction. Now that he has a more cerebral reaction instead of just flying off the handle, this person is not up to speed. She doesn't have the capabilities, not because she's a woman, but because she's young. She hasn't been in the business enough. She's not seasoned enough to have to go after somebody like this. And that's where, she thought he was going to fall by the mere asking of the question. She thought he was going to crumble. And when he had an answer, there was no comeback. You can see how shallow the plan was. They didn't have no comeback. Like, oh, what if he answers it good? Because they was assuming he's going to answer all of these terrible.
You gotta remember, just real quick, this person is engrossed in liberal CNN, MSNBC talking point. So she hear all these CNN, MSNBC talking points, and she thinks everyone is a giant got you. She never considered the alternative answer. So she said she hear what Morning Joe had to say about Trump. So she's like, I'm gonna copy the exact thing. Or I'll say Anderson Cooper, or since it's CNN, or right. So she hear what Anderson Cooper says about Trump. And she's like, man, if I say this, there's no way he's gonna get out of it. Meanwhile, Trump got like 1,000. Like they thought about every single question you answer. He has a comeback, and you guys don't. You guys don't. And from what I've seen, the issues that she's pressing her the most. I made this point earlier. I actually want you to talk more. Actually, everything they use in like Mike Pence. What are your thoughts about Mike Pence? No one gives a fuck about Mike Pence. No one cares about January 6th. They bringing up stuff that no independent will give a fuck about. CJ, you want anything you want to chime in on before?
Yeah. What I think, like I said in one of the comments, the biggest thing from this debate is the audience. Because if he didn't have the applause track, the live applause track for some of the stuff, it just wouldn't land the way that it would land. And the fact that he has applause and she doesn't, none of the stuff she says is almost like the entire audience is filled with his people. So I believe, like what you were saying earlier, that she's going to be attacked. I think the critique is going to be going to be the critique. It's like, one, there's no comeback. And I did think I know I'm jumping between things, but I think we're going to be getting back to the debate. I'm trying to get this in. The part about January 6th is what I wanted to fill in. They are really it felt like she thought those questions, because she dwelled on it so much, she thought those questions were supposed to be the most devastating questions. It feels like. And that's why she tried to dwell on it, because it wasn't landing the way that it was supposed to land in practice that she had, rehearsal. So.
Yeah. Liberals are stuck in their bubble. They can't comprehend the fact that most workers don't care about any of this shit. For example, January 6th, let's say you are concerned about the democracy or whatever, right? You're not going to vote for Democrats for democracy because they're not allowing debates.
Right.
Democrats are anti-democracy. The only people who don't think they are Democrats. Like, that's not a winning issue. But the town hall started. Let's get back to it.
With former President Donald Trump. President Trump, I'd like you to meet Jennifer Simmons. She is a stay-at-home mom and former town selectman from Wyndham. She's a Republican, and she voted for you in 2020. Jennifer, what's your question tonight?
Good evening, Mr. President. Title 42 is expected to expire tomorrow. Our southern border and now our northern border are experiencing record migration. We learned on May 2nd that the Biden administration plans on deploying 1,500 troops to the southern border. Do you agree with deploying troops to the border, and how will a Trump administration slow down the rate of migrants coming across all our borders?
Sure. A very fair question, especially since tomorrow is going to be a day of infamy. You're going to have tens of thousands of people pouring into our country. Even the judge, the judge overruled them when they wanted to terminate it early. And he said, that you better extend this thing. The judge in Texas said, I hope you're going to extend this. This is my policy that they're letting terminate because they lost in court. They wanted to go earlier. You're going to have millions of people pouring into our country right now at a level that nobody's ever seen before. These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen. How they're not going to do a version of Title 42 or my Title 42, which was tough. If people are sick and have infectious diseases and lots of other problems, we don't want them being into our country. We have enough problems right now. We have problems like we've never had in the history of our country.
But Mr. President,
our country
the
is
reason
being
it's ending,
destroyed.
the reason it's ending is because the health policy, the COVID era pandemic emergency is coming to an end. That's what Title 42 was. You put it in place because
That's
of COVID.
true, but
when it comes to big questions about what your immigration policy would look like if you are reelected, some of your Republican rivals have criticized you for not fulfilling the promises that you made on the campaign trail, like finishing the border wall. So how did voters know that you would get those done if you're reelected?
I did finish the wall. I built a wall. I built hundreds of miles of wall, and I finished it. And then I said, we have to build some more because there are areas like water going through a dam. There are some areas where a lot of people are coming. You close up one and they come into another. And we started another 100 miles of wall. In fact, I said to my people, if we start this and don't finish it, and then we had a rigged election, I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged, Mr.
Good,
President. You can't
I'm
keep
glad
saying that
you
all
said
night
that.
long.
And so then they took over and they decided not to finish it. It would have taken them 3 weeks. And there's hundreds of miles of wall. If we didn't have it, it would be hard to believe it could be any worse. They're just letting people flow into our country. Look,
No, they're not.
a country has to have borders.
No, I'm gonna do a fact check on Trump. Joe Biden puts you to shame, boy. Jim Crow Joe puts you to shame, boy. Joe Biden is funding ICE in the border industrial complex way more than you did. He deported way more people than you did. Anyone say real quick, Kit, before you continue? Let's keep our.
I'll keep it short. What we are witnessing here is art in its purest form, and I'm so glad to be with such a wonderful, beautiful crowd where we finally learn about a cat named Vagina, which is great. I mean, I mean, folks, this stuff is gold. Live in this moment. This will never happen again in your lifetime ever. So breathe it all in, my lovelies. Breathe it all in.
This is great. Let's continue.
There's never been anything like is happening to our country right now.
You built about 52 miles of new wall when you were in office, Mr. President. It wasn't the complete wall. One other thing that with
No, but I have to respond to that.
With your immigration, it was only about 52 miles of new wall.
This is what she does. I built hundreds of miles. Some of the wall was up there, and it would be laying on the ground, rusted, rotten steel, rusted, rotten wood, a little. And what the radical left, crazy Democrats did, if there's a piece of wood laying down, they consider that a wall. I built 30-foot walls that go down 7 feet into the ground. If there was a little piece of wood sitting in the ground, they said, oh, he's not building a wall. We already had a wall. Because this is the game. They're a party of disinformation.
It's not a game, Mr. President. It's about 52 miles of new wall. One other immigration policy you had when you were in office.
I built new wall.
52 miles
for hundreds of miles.
CBP, Mr.
What I did is I replaced other wall that was laying down, that was up and rotting in the ground for 30 years. Some of it was steel that you couldn't even see.
Mr. President, it was only about 52 miles of new wall, but moving on, another immigration policy you had was the zero tolerance immigration policy that separated families at the border. If you are reelected, are you ruling out instituting that?
Well, when you have that policy, people don't come. If a family hears that they're going to be separated, they love their family. They don't come.
That's not true.
I know it sounds harsh.
That's not true.
But if you remember they said I was building prison.
Just real quick, that's not true because of U.S. imperialism sanctions, they make people so desperate that they cross, even though they know they may be fucked up, because they say we got nothing to lose. So that's not true, but I'll keep it playing.
For children. It turned out that it was Obama that was building the prisons for the children.
But would you re-implement that if you're reelected? Is that what you're saying?
We have to save our country, all right?
So it sounds like that's a yes.
No. When you say to a family that if you come, we're going to break you up, they don't come. And we can't afford to have any more. Look at New York City. Look what's happening. They're living in Central Park in New York City. The city is being swamped. Los Angeles is being swamped. Iowa is being swamped. Our whole country is being destroyed. Millions of people are coming into our country. And you know what the number is going to be, in my opinion, by the end of the year? Not the 4 million that you...
Current administration has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves.
What happened?
Do you support this decision? And how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question.
I love this
so
question.
important.
Thank God.
Because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much.
Can you pause it? Can you pause it?
Holy shit.
This is the type of stuff why they hate him. Not because he has different policies. He's letting truth out. He let truth, you know what I mean? Because he's kind of off the cuff kind of speaker. So he's saying things in his own mind, he's saying it because you should think it's bad too. Like you American people will, you know what I mean? Like that's how he's thinking it. He's just thinking of a pure capitalist standpoint. We're not getting a return on this money. That's all how he's describing it. But the other people who's been in the business, they understand, wait. We propagandize people not to do that. Okay. So we told them a completely different story. And that's the part. This is one of the things they really don't like about him right here.
One other thing here, too. Look, I know they somehow skipped the border question, but someone in the live stream chat, Zoya Shore, she's one of your moderators. She said Kamala told them not to come, but it's okay when the first vice president of the United States, woman vice president of the United States, tells migrants not to come to the United States. So in many ways, look, Trump is just saying the same words that Kamala Harris said to migrant families that are escaping because of U.S. foreign policy. Again, scumbag politicians on both sides. By the way, the CNN town hall host, I think I could fix her. She could become my crystal ball. I could fix her.
Just real quick, you notice that Trump said, we don't have any ammunition anymore. What the fuck you need ammunition for, Trump?
Yeah, who exactly are we fighting, Trump? Exactly.
And not an anti-imperialist take. Once again, better than Biden because he called for funding the war. But I cannot emphasize enough to my audience that these people are not anti-war. They just want to shift the resources. But let's continue, and then we try to make some more.
Have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened.
Oh shit! Hold up.
Oh no! What are they doing?
Jesus!
Don't you do this to us, CNN.
Stay on topic here, Mr. President, because the question
I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring up one just as a backup if this goes out.
But the question here is, would you give Ukraine weapons and funding?
I would sit down. Let me just.
We're trying to rewind to see if that does anything.
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that?
Damn, the part I wanted to hear the most, man.
I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be absolutely
over.
over.
Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's going to kill Biden with that line. He's going to kill him. He's going to kill that president.
Holy cow.
You said you don't think in terms of winning and losing.
Mr. President, can I just
follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me, let me just follow up.
Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying.
God damn.
And I'll have that done. I'll have that done in 24 hours. I'll have it done. You need the power of the presidency to do it.
But you won't say that you want Ukraine to win. You
know what I'll say? I'll say this. I want Europe to put up more money because they're in for 20 billion. We're in for 170. And they should equalize. They have plenty of money. They should equalize. I got with NATO, when I sat down, I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars that they weren't paying under Obama and Bush and all of these other presidents. That's why they're able to help them fight the war because of the money I got. But I want Europe to put up more money because they're laughing at us. They think we're a bunch of jerks. We're spending $170 billion for faraway land, and they're right next door to that land, and they're in for 20. I don't think so.
When it comes to what's happening there, when you were in office, you said that you respected President Putin. Do you still respect him today?
He made a tremendous mistake. He was a smart guy, you know. I remember I said he was smart, she was smart. He said President Xi of China, right, is smart. Okay, 1.5 billion people. He's the ruler of 1.5 billion people. I said, yeah, he's a smart guy. How dare he say he's smart? Of course he's smart. They want you to say he's a stupid person. Okay, he's not a stupid person. He's very smart. He's very cunning. And Putin made a bad mistake, in my opinion.
What was his mistake?
His mistake was going in. He would have never gone in if I was president. We used to talk about it there.
God damn it.
Do you believe that he is a war criminal? Do you believe that Putin is a war criminal? He's responsible for the deaths of thousands of Ukrainian men and women.
I think it's something that should not be discussed now. It should be discussed later because right now we have to get a war. If you say he's a war criminal, it's going to be a lot tougher to make a deal to get this thing stopped. Because if he's going to be a war criminal where people are going to go and grab him and execute him, he's going to fight a lot harder than he's fighting, you know, under the other circumstance. That's something to be discussed at a later date. Right now, we want to get that war settled. And I'm not talking about the money either. I'm talking about all the lives that are being, The number of people being killed in that war is far greater than you're hearing. When they blow up a city and those buildings.
This is
come
over,
falling
Nick.
down,
I tell you,
and
this
those
is over.
people
This
were
is over.
injured,
This is over.
Hundreds and thousands of
over.
people are being killed.
The
and we have to get that war settled.
Crazy.
We have more with former
God.
President Trump right after this. We're going to take
Now,
a
hold
quick
on.
break.
Bye-bye,
Yeah,
dinosaur Crystal.
I don't think they wanted a break right there. I think they needed a break right there because what he was saying, they have to shift. They cannot have this on TV. The weapons manufacturers are pulling their hair out. Go ahead. I think Kit wanted to chime in.
I want to get Kid in because I want you to speak. Go ahead, Kid.
Okay,
I got a
okay.
lot to say. I'll tell mine post-show. Go ahead, Kid.
So again, there's a lot to unpack here with this, especially I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central. But here's the thing about Donald Trump, once again, saying things. He is to the left of Marianne Williamson in regards to this god-awful war in Ukraine.
Oh, my God. Donald Trump. Doing that? You doing that? That's what you're going to do, Kid?
Well, the thing is, when you guys had her on your show, and Marianne Williamson was all invested into the military-industrial complex. Yep. What is Trump saying? Is Trump a good person? Hell no, but he's saying he wants to stop people dying. Plus, the evidence is out there. We're wasting billions upon billions of dollars for this ridiculous war in Ukraine. But what? We can't have clean drinking water in Flint, Michigan? We can't have student debt forgiveness or Medicare for all? Trump is calling out the establishment for what it is. Trump is trying to regain control of the MAGA movement, and it is without a shadow of doubt that he has made himself a front runner in the Republican primary. And quite clearly, the DNC thought that they had this in the bag. Whoever is coaching Donald Trump, he is listening to them.
Yes.
Whoever Trump has on his team, he has learned to shut up, take notes, and actually freaking win. Because this right here, from my analysis and point of view, has made himself look more coherent than anything he's done in 2016 and in 2020.
Dude, I'm shocked because I still believe, and I saw Trump at 16 and 20. I'm like, man, I can't get why people don't laugh at this moron. But now he's way more positive, especially on the Ukraine issue. This motherfucker will listen to Tucker Carlson on that issue every goddamn day. Can you imagine Joe Biden debating Donald Trump on Ukraine? That boy will get shredded, son. Hell, can you imagine Donald Trump debating the Nazi collaborator Marianne Williamson on this?
No.
Oh my God, dude, it's fucking over. You had the best instinct, CJ, at the beginning. Like, because I was waiting to see what Trump would say on Ukraine. Now I think it's a wrap, son.
Yeah,
it's a wrap.
But we did not factor in this presentation by this person, Trump. That's what we didn't factor in here. That's why I'm saying this is a wrap, because you telling me this guy hasn't been rehearsed or is this smart. He's either rehearsed or he's smarter than he lets off, man. It's either one.
Or both.
Or he's smarter than he lets off, because he goes like this. She says, because she asked a question and then she tries to narrow the question more to, you don't want freedom to win kind of question. Like, you want Ukraine to lose. And then he says, I want people to stop dying. Yes. That's it. It's not. It's the Jokers. It's 2 Jokers over. That's it. I want people to stop dying. There is no follow-up to that. What is she going to say? Well, I'd rather democracy than people dying. Then you sound like Madeleine Albright. Yeah. Then you're sounding like 500,000 kids, Iraqi kids dying. You having that sort of a video meme going around. So that's not happening. This person came to a fight unprepared. She came to a fight prepared for a 2020 Trump, and she got this Trump. And then don't know who this is. It's like, who is this person right now?
Excuse me, CJ.
I'll pass to you. The Democratic Party and liberals have no idea how much they lose on this Ukraine issue. And you can tell because she's unprepared. Even the NATO left, like Marianne Williamson, has no idea how much of a loser this is for them. But go ahead, Kid. I want you to chime in real quick.
First of all, CJ, please don't insult my future wife. I can fix her, okay? Number 2, she just needs some training. But also, real quick, Bad Cookies wrote in your live stream chat. He said this. You want to know what else is helping Trump out? He isn't calling Biden his good friend.
Should know here in New Hampshire to get to, but I also want to talk about some of the other investigations that you're facing. We talked about others in the time. One of those council's investigations.
You got the guy who's running to be commander and fucking chief, and you only do 5 minutes on foreign policy. What the fuck? This country is so unserious. The president has power over foreign policy. At least half of the town hall should be about that. At least half. They did 10 minutes at best.
documents that were
Sure.
found at Mar-a-Lago. Why did you take those documents with you?
I had every right to do it. I didn't make a secret of it. You know, the
Hey, can
boxes
you
were
pause it
stationed
right here
outside
again?
of the White House. People were taking pictures
This is
of
their
the GSA.
calculation. This is their calculation that January 6th and some freaking pieces of paper is more important than saving Ukrainian people's lives. That's their bet in this election. And on top of that, to add the little salsa on top of that, right? It's Joe Biden, demented Joe Biden, who could barely speak. Imagine Joe Biden debating a Trump like this. This is over, man. They're probably looking at. They looked at the 46%, how he's up 7% on the Washington Post, ABC News Post. They looked at that, and then they saw this. I guarantee they're like, "Oh, Joe Biden got to go. Joe Biden has got to go."
And there's no way you could sugarcoat Joe. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, look, I gotta keep the pause short because I think that's fucking up the live stream a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my bad,
is
guys.
Joe
No
Biden.
worries.
He has 1,800 boxes.
This part is
Nobody
boring.
even knows where they are.
This part offers no value.
And nobody talks about him.
This is no value right here.
And they put a rough guy on us, and they. In the
I think it's
meantime, they have
important, Mr.
nobody.
President, to actually set the record straight here.
Wow.
They took documents, including President or Vice President Pence. When they realized they had documents, they turned them back over. The difference is that you waited to turn yours over, and it was a year and a half effort that incled a subpoena with those documents. One question about
It
what happened
included
when
a
you had
raid
those
on my
documents.
house. That's what it included.
But
They
you had
didn't raid.
you'd gotten a
They didn't
subpoena, and
raid
they had not
Biden's
been
house.
turned over yet.
They didn't raid
over.
Biden's
We
house.
almost
You know,
done,
he
and then we can do a post.
They put him in the house. That's the one with the Corvette, where the documents were laying all over the floor. That was fine. And you know who happens to be at Mar-a-Lago? Secret Service, and they're phenomenal.
This guy is
I have
so
Secret
good
Service.
on
He didn't have
TV.
Secret Service. The other thing, the vice president cannot declassify. He didn't have the right to declassify. He has documents from when he was a senator. And even Democrat senators say, I can't believe it.
Why would
No,
she
I
pick
went
this-
by the
bring this up?
Presidential
Why would
Records
she
Act,
bring this
That's
up?
not
and
what
we
the
were
Presidential
negotiating
Records
with
Act
NARA.
says. That's not what it says,
And
Mr.
NARA has
President.
red flagged a thing called the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights because they consider them
Mr.
dangerous
President, that's not what it
documents.
says,
Those are the people we're dealing with.
and I should note that there is a special counsel investigating your document situation, also President Biden's document situation. When it comes to your documents, did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified
Maybe not
after.
really.
Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right. I was negotiating with NARA. Do you know what NARA is?
The National Archives.
Extremely
negotiate
left group
with
of
them.
people. Extremely left. And I was negotiating with
They're
them.
not
All of a
left, they're
sudden, they
bipartisan.
raided my house. They didn't raid
You see how
the
she keep
house of Joe
interrupting?
Biden.
Damn.
They didn't raid Obama.
But Joe Biden didn't ignore a subpoena to get those documents back like
Joe
you
Biden
did.
That
So
means
that's the
nothing. He still
question.
broke the law. They keep doing this shit where they're like, well, at least he complied. Like, nigga, you still broke the law.
He
They both
broke
did
the.
same
Oh my
thing.
god. Oh
50
my
bucks.
god.
But that's the question that investigators have.
I was negotiating and we were talking to NARA, that's Washington, to bring whatever they want. They can have whatever they want. When we left Washington, we had the boxes lined up on the sidewalk outside for everybody. People are taking pictures of them. Everybody knew we were taking those boxes. And the GSA, the government service, the GSA was the one taking them. They brought them down to Mar-a-Lago. We were negotiating with NARA. All of a sudden, they raid our house. When Biden had his documents, he won't give back the 1,850 boxes. And you're going to find some real gems in there.
But it was
So you
Biden who
can't have
alerted
all
them that
these
he had
different
the
sets of-
documents.
all
The
these
National
different
Archives
sets of-
reached out to you to get your documents back. Why did
Oh,
you
this part
not
is
turn
so
them
fucking
over when
boring.
you got a
God.
subpoena
Because we were
asking for you to
negotiating.
turn
I'm gonna
them
let it
over?
play because this
We
part
were
is boring.
negotiating with them as
Jesus.
per the Presidential
I
Records
already know.
Act.
I'm gonna do a
We were
whole segment on the
negotiating
foreign
with
policy
NARA.
part.
That's not what
Very
the
nice
Presidential
people,
Records
the
Act
whole
says.
nother
I've
But they
seen
got to
it.
love our Constitution a little bit more, because, and they shouldn't red flag it, by the way. Very nice people. We were negotiating with NARA. And that's what the Presidential Records Act says, because Richard Nixon, surprisingly, had problems. And he had a lot of problems dealing with NARA. And they ended up passing
Well,
legislation
that's why they
called the
created the
Presidential
PRA.
Records Act, just for this kind of a thing.
Well
we were
said,
dealing
AG.
with them.
Question
We were
on this
talking, excuse me, wait a minute,
subject,
wait.
Mr. President.
We were talking to them.
Thank
We
you.
would have done it, but
Trump
all of a
just
sudden they
controlling
raided the house.
CNN.
Now,
This is
why
beautiful.
hasn't the FBI raided Biden?
But I just explained to
Why-
you why.
no.
It's because he's the one, they alerted the
1,850
government that they
okay.
had those documents and had them come and get the
Why
documents
did
from his
Biden?
house.
No, they
My
didn't take
question
them.
for you, though, when it comes to documents, do you still have any classified documents in your possession?
Are you ready?
Do you?
No, I don't have anything. I have no classified
Why you do that?
documents. And by the way, they become automatically declassified when I took them. But
No, you have
why?
to declassify
Let me
them.
ask you a question. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown? And he gets a lot of money from China. Why is that?
There
And
is no
why
evidence
aren't
of that,
people?
Mr. President. No, you cannot
why
say
aren't
that. There
people
is no
bringing that
evidence
up?
of that, Mr.
And why do they
President.
put this
What
guy
you're
Jack
referring
Smith
to
and his
is an
group of
office
and
that
his
he
group
had.
of
Why is she
thugs?
interrupting?
Why
You
do they put
interviewing him,
in
you
charge
fuck.
of that?
I need to stop you right there because there's no evidence of what you just said there. What you're referring to there is an office that he
No,
had
lady,
after
you are
leaving
bad at
the
this.
vice presidency.
This is
He had a temporary office.
terrible.
But I want to ask you about another investigation
You're so
that you're
wrong.
facing.
You don't know the subject.
I do know the
He
subject.
had
I
one
do
at
know the
University of
facts, Mr.
Pennsylvania,
President.
but he also had
I want to
9
move on
boxes
to another
in
investigation that
Chinatown.
you're facing, which is the one
She
that's
doesn't
happening
understand.
in Georgia, where they are investigating your efforts to overturn the election results in the state of Georgia.
I did
At the
nothing wrong. It was
center
a
of that,
perfect phone call.
let me finish my question. At the center of that is that call that you had with the Secretary
Perfect
of State,
call.
Brad Raffensperger.
Yeah, sure.
Given the fact that there are indictments expected to come in that case this summer, is that a call you would make again today?
Yeah, I called questioning the
His
election.
numbers are going
I
to go
thought
up.
it was a rigged
Watch
election.
him do
I thought
another
it had a
poll. He's
lot
going
of
to be up by
problems.
like 10 points
I
now.
had every, I guess
Oh,
he's
my
Secretary
God.
of State. I called.
Yeah.
Listen to this. There are like 7 lawyers on the call, many of them from there. We're having a call. We're having a normal call. Nobody said, oh, gee, he shouldn't have said that. Why? If this call was bad, I questioned the election.
You
if
asked
this
him to
call
find
was
you
bad,
votes.
I didn't ask him to find anything. Let me
We've
just tell
heard
you,
the audio.
if
AOC
this
is in
call was
shambles
There's
right
an
now,
audio of you
guys.
asking him to
I
find
Oh,
you
said
11 votes.
AOC is melting
votes
down,
because the
crying,
election
opening up
was
a box
rigged.
wine.
That
There you
We
go.
got a lot
That's
to
what
talk
she's
about
doing.
after this.
And if this call was bad, why didn't him and his lawyers hang up? How dare you say that? This was a perfect
Well, they were
phone
clearly
call.
concerned enough. They recorded the call, and I should note that, of
This
course,
was a call that was made to question the results of election. And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
you weren't just questioning the election results.
I was
You were
questioning
asking
the
him to
election.
find you votes, and I should note that there is no evidence of fraud. There is no
Bro,
rigged
Blue
election.
Bobby is shambles right
I
now,
want to
This has
explain to
been
the audience,
such-
Mr.
so
President,
bad for her.
because those are
Damn.
false claims you're
This
making
has
about what
been
happened
so
in
bad.
Georgia. Jordan Sullenberger is here. He's an undeclared voter from Hollis. He voted for you in 2020. Jordan, what is your question for President Trump tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Trump.
Thank you very much.
I'm 26. I'm a veteran. I help manage a private aviation company.
You want a job?
I'd love one. Yeah.
I'm looking for somebody very good.
I'm not for mandates or government interference in private business, but I've
Right.
seen Republicans going after us like DeSantis after Disney.
Right.
What would you do as president to protect us from government interference?
Well, I'm the one that really wants to protect you. All of these fake investigations of me are about election interference. They think because I'm leading Biden by 11 points, 7 points, 9
said
points, I'm leading DeSanctimonious by a lot, by 40 points or 45 points. I think he ought to just relax and take it easy and think about the
Oh
future.
my
because
God,
right
he is
now his future's
destroying
not
them.
looking so good.
God
I will
damn.
tell you
He is
this.
destroying them.
We are
God
really
damn.
putting it to Biden.
Destroying them.
But he's putting it to himself because the economy stinks, inflation is horrible, and the border is a disaster. And by the way he got out of Afghanistan was the single most embarrassing moment in the history of our country.
Mr. President, I have one more question for you here tonight, and I think while we're in front of the voters here in New Hampshire, this is a fundamental question for you. You are running in the 2024 race. If you are the Republican nominee and you are in that 2024 race, will you commit tonight to accepting the results of the 2024 election?
Yeah, if I think it's an honest election, absolutely, I would.
Will you commit to accepting the results of the election regardless
Why?
of the outcome?
Why are you demanding someone take a fucking fascist pledge like that? That's a fascist pledge, guys. There is nothing wrong with questioning the legitimacy of an election, and liberals claiming that you can't. That's fascist.
How embarrassing is it that Trump is more Democratic right now than these scumbags in the DNC saying like, no, I won't take that fascist pledge. There you go. How pathetic.
Oh, sorry, I was just making sure we didn't lose our spot. My bad.
All right, go ahead.
And you know what? If I don't win,
Anselm College, CNN's coverage continues with Anderson Cooper and
We
Jake
keep on longer for a little bit.
to accepting the 2024 election results or acknowledging what happened in 2020.
Go ahead.
President Trump, I want to thank you for coming here tonight. This is an important conversation with voters to hear
We'll
and
go
to
back.
have.
30
Thank you to our
more
audience and to our
Players
host, St. Anselm
ass, man.
College. CNN's coverage
Oh
continues
well,
with
I think we got
Anderson
most
Cooper.
of it. So,
Wow.
like what, as I said earlier on that last question, is it wrong for us to contest the results of the 2000 election? Because I remember clearly Democrats and liberals and the general population being very upset about that. And I'm being very careful because now apparently you can get pulled for even saying that the 2000 election was rigged. And that was a long time. Like, people used to say that all the time. Hillary and the liberals used to say all the time that Russia stole the election. Now all of a sudden liberals say, you can't say this. You got a wrong thing. How dare you question our establishment? It's unbelievable, kid. CJ, any final thoughts? Like, that foreign policy part, I might literally do a whole nother segment on that later. But kid, I'll start with you.
Well, first of all, what I urge all my colleagues in independent media, including everyone here at RBN, please keep an eye on social media because the Vote Blue No Matter Who crowd are probably having a collective meltdown. AOC is having a meltdown as well. Look how well Trump was coordinated. Whoever is advising him, or is it at Trump decided to open up a book and decided to read. However, which way you want to take it, Donald Trump owned this CNN town hall. CNN came in here unprepared. They had somebody in there who thought they were, as you say, CJ just said it perfectly, had somebody who they thought who could take on Trump from 2020. There is a lot of political ammunition that the Trump campaign can use against the Democrats and corporate media. It's all out there. The evidence is out there. We can all see it. The Biden-Harris campaign is struggling. Their approval rating is plummeting. It is without a shadow of a doubt that the Democrats should be collectively crapping their pants. Remember, the last time the Democrats were this arrogant was in 2016 because they thought they had it in the bag. There is a lot working in favor for Donald Trump, and I will not underestimate Donald Trump and his ability to derail the Democratic and corporate media campaign. Now, is Trump any better than the DNC or corporate media? Hell no. But he knows how to fight him. He's made a career of showmanship. Plus, he understands how the establishment works, be it in the DNC and RNC, because he gave these people money when he was a businessman and they did what he says. He knows the system is rigged. Dave Chappelle said it on an SNL skit. I know the system is rigged because I've used it. He is the most transparent president we've ever had. He told us why we're in Syria, why we're in the Middle East. It's for the oil. It's for the money. It's for the resources. No other president will say it, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will love him for it. But at the end of the day, this is what the Democrats and corporate media created. Trump can easily win this. I won't underestimate him, and it's wonderful to see how the establishment will be trying to rebuild themselves, because now the DNC might be put in a position to where they might have to have Biden debate. Can Biden debate? Have we not seen Dianne Feinstein and how she's struggling to even be, I don't know, part of the Senate? She looks like the goddamn crypt keeper, and Biden's doing a little bit better than her. Unfortunately, folks, this is the nightmare we're in, and at the end of the day, what we witnessed here is beauty and art, and something for all of us who've been calling out the DNC for years about. We knew that they were complete frauds and idiots. We knew that they were fools. And this entire CNN town hall vindicates CJ, vindicates Nick, vindicates Jimmy Dore, vindicates everyone who's part of RBN, Hard Lens Media, Due Dissidents, everybody that's been calling this out. This CNN town hall shines a light on just how stupid the squad, Sanders, everybody truly is. I hope everyone who went to brunch when Biden got elected, Rational National, Humanist Reports, everyone who went to shuckle their oysters. I think it was Humanist Report that went to, no, that wasn't Humanist Report, Rational National. He posted a tweet saying, I'm shuckling my own oysters because everyone went to brunch. I hope you enjoyed that crap brunch, folks, because you're about to vomit it out.
This is the fun part. And CJ, I want to hear from you next, but I'm going to show you guys AOC's meltdown. And this town hall went so bad for CNN. I literally just checked. We're going to do some post analysis now. Thank you, CNN. Thank you, CNN is literally trending right now. There's a bunch of right wingers that said, thank you, CNN. This shit is over, son. Now, I'm going to show you one. And CJ, I'm going to get your last thoughts. I just want to show you guys this. And then we get to the AOC and Blue MAGA meltdown. Because I'm scrolling Twitter now, guys. This shit is glorious. This is absolutely glorious. So Pat Curry is a famous Trumper. Like, he's a famous Trump supporter guy. Yeah. Look, Trump just won the presidency. Thanks, CNN. Thanks, CNN is trending right now. Like, this shit is trending. CJ, you can chime in now. I got a lot more to share.
No, share it because what I was going to do, because I wanted to comment on the Ukraine part, and so I was going to snippet like 45 seconds of it. So I didn't want to change the interview.
I saw earlier that once again I was just looking on Twitter now.
I have it queued up, or if you have some clips, either way, we can do
All right,
it.
cool. So I'm
Just
gonna
wanna-
show you this. Let's do that. Let's
let's
I'm gonna
do
show
that
AOC's
first, yeah.
meltdown. Let's show AOC meltdown, and then I actually want to. I didn't see this. Obviously, we're doing this live, but I actually want to see this trending tab. I see. Think CNN is trending with about 10,000 tweets in it. The right wing is having a celebration. Right wing is having a celebration right now. Donald Trump just made that CNN lady look like an idiot. Thanks CNN. Thanks CNN for making Trump look like an absolute saint. Now I know, and we gotta be clear. Some of these people are right wingers too, but you see how excited they are. You know who's in shambles? Blue MAGA. Compare MAGA Twitter from what I already seen to Blue MAGA. This is AOC Cope. I'm reading this. I saw the first part, but I'm gonna read the whole tweet. Go ahead, Kit. You want to chime in? Anyone? Feel free.
Yeah. First of all, AOC, I actually retweeted this, and here's what I said under Hardlands Media's account. I said to her, as you guys were posting this, your party isn't hosting debates. Go cry about Tucker being back on air again. Hey, are you gonna go back and start protesting at the border again? Probably not. AOC. Go cry at the border, okay? AOC, I know you're just doing this for show, and it's hilarious. I love it. She's saying shame on CNN. Well, shame on you. You're not a fighter.
Right. Pushing for censorship once again, because that doesn't make the left look bad. As I said before, AOC's job is to make socialism and pretty much socialism as unappealing as possible. She's not a real socialist, but she marketed herself that way. She's here to make that shit unappealing. So she's here to call for censorship. Look at this is unhinged. She said, I'm gonna read the whole tweet now for the people who haven't seen it. CNN should be ashamed of themselves. They have lost total control of this town hall. So CJ, Kit, this is Blue MAGA admitting, holy shit, CNN, you just got dismantled. This is as close as they're gonna come to saying. This is as close as they're gonna come to say that they just got dismantled. You lost control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation. Defense of January 6th. That's AOC's number one concern, guy. That's her struggle.
Well, she wasn't even in the goddamn building, Nick. She wasn't even in the building. But yet, I was there. Oh no, the panic January 6th. She wasn't even in the goddamn building. Oh, she's just a failed actress who couldn't make it big in Hollywood. That's all.
So once again, contrast MAGA Twitter that is celebrating their ass off to Blue MAGA. And I've seen a few of these. I'm going to go through the CNN Town Hall trending tabs, and you're going to see a lot of it because I already saw it as I was skimming earlier. So let me continue this. They have lost total control of this town hall to again be manipulated into platforming election disinformation, defenses of January 6th, and a public attack on a sexual abuse victim. The audience is cheering him and laughing at the host. AOC is like, bro, she take a major L. That's the best way they can say it. So let me get the last part here. This falls squarely on CNN. Everyone here saw exactly what was going to happen. Instead, they put a sexual abuse victim in harm's way for views. This was a choice to platform lies about election in January 6th. It's so hard to read this with no plan, but they have the moderator interrupted without consequences. And CJ, what I told you guys a few days ago, they're gonna make all the excuses up about why they did. Oh, he's a sexual assault victim. He's gonna shame him. No, that's not the fucking reason. Don't listen to her. They didn't want Trump to go out there and say the shit he did on Ukraine. He didn't want to do. They didn't want him to come out and use whataboutism, which incriminates Biden on many things. That's the real reason. So she's AOC like always is kind of getting cooked here. My reply, because this was kind of what I mentioned earlier. Damn, I can't find it. But I was like, what are you implying that? Were you implying that a cable news organization not do their fucking job and interview a politician?
Well, AOC is part of that new wave of censorship and deplatforming. AOC, how much you want to bet she's going to really be demanding that social media starts censoring how this election is going to be covered? Because AOC is going to want to dictate how things are said. She's going to be so upset about how CNN just embarrassed not only their brand, but how the fact that even the Biden-Harris administration will be incapable of combating everything that Trump said. If Trump actually goes on a debate stage, let's say Trump wins a Republican primary, and let's say he's in the general election, goes all the way there. Can you imagine a debate between Trump and Biden? Biden isn't ready. When's the last time, as you said, Nick, on Tuesday's show, you said it. When's the last time Biden has had a press conference? When's the last time Biden's been able to speak for an hour or more? When has Biden been able to say a coherent sentence? There's something wrong, and everyone thought that this would be an easy walk in the park.
Remember what Joe Scarborough said, CJ? I don't know how much you watch more than Joe, kid, but Joe Scarborough just said, they better hope it's not Trump for weeks and weeks. This motherfucker like, it better not be Trump or Trump is going to lose. There's no way Trump can win. Son, shit, it's a wrap.
It's real. And the thing is, I'm curious to see the mental gymnastics from the DNC and corporate media on how to defend CNN. I feared that I might have to call my future ex-wife and tell her that she did an okay job.
I don't know if you've seen it yet, Nick, but there's a Morning Joe segment. I think it was this morning. Was it this morning? Yesterday, where it's basically the day after the polls. And so now the whole strategy is to shame the people. So it's really unhinged.
Yeah, I saw that. I covered it.
Where they're just going through and going like, oh, so you covered it? Okay, so yeah, man, it's
that the one with Donnie Deutsch or whatever? Was you
no.
like, oh, I didn't see that one, Nick. I thought Donnie Deutsch. He was like, what is wrong with people? There's another one?
There's another one. Donnie Deutsch is not in this one.
Damn.
No, so we'll cover it whenever the next time we do it.
Yeah, so I know you got video too, CJ. This is the main trending tab. This is hashtag CNN Town Hall, so we can get the vibe. And I don't know who this guy. Let me see who this guy calling. What is his bias? I don't know his bias, but he said this CNN Town Hall.
I think I've retweeted him. He retweets a lot of Trump stuff, and I think he's conservative leaning. Yeah. He said this CNN Town Hall event is a stand-up comedy show. CNN looks terrible. Go ahead.
We learned about a cat named Vagina.
Is that Brianna? What did she say?
Let's see what Bree says. Brianna said Democrats might as well allow a primary because their odds of beating Trump with Diana. Now that's a good comment, Bree.
No. She's right because, like I said earlier, Biden has to go. Biden has to go.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have to do a primary with Gavin Newsom, with the governor of Michigan. They're gonna have to do a primary. So Brianna is kind of right. She's like, y'all might as well open this shit up because this is a wrap. This is a wrap.
She's definitely right.
Yeah.
See, if you are a Democrat and you're serious, which is not, that's like most of them are not. But if you actually want to win, you be like, Biden, drop your fucking ego. Kamala, drop your fucking ego and get the fuck out of here. This is horrible. I think RFK is the only one who stands a chance. Marianne Williamson, will he get cooked, son? We like Marianne, but imagine if Marianne and Trump debate on Ukraine. You don't want Marianne to go against Trump. You guys do not. If you had turned the regular center, you don't. But Kate, you want to chime in?
Well, the thing is, if there was a debate between Trump and Marianne Williamson, there is nothing that she could say that could hold anything towards the words that Trump just said in the CNN town hall. All what that she'll probably run on is, oh, what, Trump, you're being misogynistic. Oh, Trump, you're being sexist. No one cares about that. He won the crowd. Social media is a different landscape right now. Twitter is probably one of the most popular social media platforms there is as it currently stands. And the thing is, Trump and the GOP and Republican voters can easily capitalize on it. It's all out there for everybody to see. This isn't a slam dunk for CNN or the left or liberals. This is an embarrassment. And the establishment just got owned. This is a moment in history in which we've all partaken, and I have to say, what a privilege it was to be on RBN tonight with all of you. because
this is fun though. We talk about a lot of depressing shit. We gotta relax and have fun sometimes. But go ahead, kid.
Well, this will never. We will never see something like this again unless there's another town hall. This is art.
I hope there is.
And the thing is, clip all the video segments from this town hall because it's going to be immortal forever in American politics. Trump, look, when I had Sabrina on my show earlier or last week of April, she said, hey, look, there's a very good chance that Donald Trump could win it. I was first hesitant to really say it, but Sabrina was correct. And
I was hesitant too.
Yeah.
I was hesitant too.
There you go.
But this is electoral politics. So I think this shit's
you never
unpredictable.
know.
I told you guys I suck at predicting electoral politics. You guys want to know how bad I am at predicting electoral politics? I thought Bernie was gonna win.
I thought that too. I thought that too. You're not alone. I'll take that L too. I really thought he was ready in 2020, and I was wrong. I was so wrong.
Yeah, who cares if you're wrong about electoral politics? This shit's a joke. Who cares? I'd rather be right about foreign policy and shit that actually matters instead of we guessing elections. Congratulations, big brain. So important, right? So I've been skimming this. I don't know if we saw this part, or maybe I missed it because I saw a nasty person is trending. So let's listen to this clip again.
It's very simple. You're a nasty person. I'll tell you.
Dude, what if I trip out? Swear to God, I did not hear that part. Maybe that's the part that skipped.
That is the part that skipped.
Yeah. It's weird how it skipped over some of the best parts. That's crazy.
So this part and the part where Trump pulled out the note is the one I've seen the most. That's the two big moments, which is a fucking shame and shows how much of a joke this country is. That you have the president here and no one's talking about foreign policy. That's not trending. Why not Ukraine trending? I don't see that many people talking about the Ukraine part. That's the most important part. All this other stuff is nonsense. Crazy. Anyway, I won't let the clip again.
It's very simple. You're a nasty person. I'll tell you.
Wait, replay it again. Replay it again.
Replay it one more time. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, let me watch his lips. Let me see.
It's very simple. You're a nasty person. I'll tell you.
Can you answer why you held on to the documents?
I was negotiating, and we were talking to NARA, that's Washington, to bring whatever they want. They can have whatever they want.
That's it.
It's very simple. You're a nasty
person. Like that's a voiceover? Did they voice? That's why I was saying, does his lips say nasty person? I don't know if that's a voiceover right there.
No, hey, look, you see everyone quoting it. You are a nasty woman. Trump CNN town hall. That's real. She does like Crystal Ball. I saw a lot of people saying Crystal Ball. Now this one I really
dime store version of Crystal Ball. She's a dime store version of Crystal Ball. But leave my ex-wife alone, Nick. Come on, dude.
No, man, she got a beautiful soul, man. I'm rooting for you. I'm gonna play this clip. I'm gonna play this clip because this is another clip I seen just scrolling around at the most viral. This is the part where he pulled out the receipts, but let's watch it again because it's only a 2-minute clip.
Back to what happened on that day. You said you weren't.
Say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He
President.
did not say that.
But you said you weren't very involved that day. You did tell your supporters to come to Washington. You tweeted about it, about that speech that happened on the rally.
Am I allowed to say that?
When they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Here's another big moment playing on. I think you can.
So if you look at on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful. Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social. I think it's far superior. Okay. I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there. I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did.
No, I know, but you didn't report that. You know why? Because it was
we did report it. I was reporting that
day. It was taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear.
So that's another big moment. CJ, I'm gonna pass it to you because I see the Ukraine part now trending. And I'm gonna just read this and after this I'll pass to you because this answer is devastating, man, to the Democrat Party. Trump's answer to whether he wants Ukraine or Russia to win the war. I want everyone to stop dying. Russian and Ukrainians, I want them to stop dying. That's what he said. And this is what the Republicans are going to run on. We're not going to fall for it, but they're not trying to win our votes, right? They're going to run on the fact. Look at that last line. Trump is the peace president.
Oh my God.
Once again, we don't believe that. But is everyone over at RBN? That shit is gonna demolish the Democratic Party, son. They're gonna be running. Hey, we got the peace candidate. Meanwhile, Joe Biden sacrificing Ukrainian and the Russian lives. Devastating, man. Absolutely devastating. See, I know you guys clip. Anything else you guys want to add?
I can play the clip real quick here. Present, share. So I have it queued up right when the question is asked. So I'll let it play the question. But what I'm planning for, because I want to hear what he says, but for context, for those that don't remember the question, I'll let her ask the question.
Has made it clear that we should continue to provide military equipment to Ukraine so that they can defend themselves. Do you support this decision, and how would you deal with the increasing threat posed by Vladimir Putin?
First of all, thank you very much. It's really nice. And it's an important question, so important, because we're giving away so much equipment. We don't have ammunition for ourselves right now. We don't have ammunition for ourselves. We're giving away so much. But here's the thing. I have to say it to start off. No longer matters. If I were president, this would have never happened. And even the Democrats admit that. Putin knew it would have never happened. And his pipeline would have never happened. A lot of things would have never happened. But this would never have happened. And all those dead people, both Russian and Ukrainian, they wouldn't be dead today. And all those cities that are blown up and disintegrated right to the ground, that wouldn't have happened. Okay, now, here's the problem. We've given so far $171 billion. They've given, meaning European Union, which is approximately the same size altogether as our economy. They've given about 20. So we're at 170, let's say, and they're at 20. You don't have to know.
I mean, we have to stop it here and let it play a little bit more seconds, because this is such a thing they don't want to get out, to be able to compare what the United States is contributing compared to every other so-called allies. And he's pointed out this is a war propped up by the United States. That's what he's pointing out.
That's why they cut the break. She probably had like 3 more questions written down. They're like, Trump don't know, but he's probably like, man, cut the that's so. I cannot emphasize this enough, and I know I did a few times already. But man, how unserious is our country? How unserious is it? Most people have no idea how our government works. You got Marianne Williamson who ran for president, even though she don't have any disagreement with Biden on foreign policy, because she thinks that president is in charge of the legislative branch. The person who's running for president is the commander in fucking chief, guys. The number one thing is foreign policy with them. So when people say this, CJ and Kit, they say, oh, you say you want to vote for a war criminal? I heard this all the time when I refuse to vote for Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. They say, you won't vote for Joe Biden? You won't vote for Hillary? I'm like, no. The worst thing you could do is vote for a war fucking criminal as president. That's the worst thing you can do to humanity. That's the number one thing they're in charge of. But CNN, we're going to gloss by that. And that's a bunch of questions about irrelevant nonsense. And that's a decision because they didn't want this issue to come out. But will they be able to do that when Joe Biden and Donald Trump is running against each other? And also, I'm very, very, very disappointed. Liberals are dragging CNN, but I'm actually dragging them for good reasons. No China questions.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That's right. Yeah. Because we got that Biden's instigating conflict with China over Taiwan now.
And if he asks, and this is why they're so pathetic. Liberals are so pathetic. Trump just demolished y'all. Why didn't y'all ask him about China? Because that would kill his anti-war part, right? You would think you want to expose how he actually pro-war on China, but they can't because they are too. Imagine being so pathetic you lose to this guy, and that's why.
Well, here's the thing. The last election in 2020, look, popular vote means nothing in this country. It's the Electoral College that dictates everything. And Biden won by the skin of his teeth. He didn't win with absolute certainty or victory. And the thing is, look, Trump has every right to call out the fact that we have the fact that we don't have election integrity in the United States. I mean, free and fair elections in the United States, election integrity in my city alone. I mean, come on, votes disappear. I interviewed somebody way back after the Democratic primary here in 2020 when Bernie Sanders was here. A lot of Bernie Sanders votes disappeared, and obviously we had the thing called the pandemic impacting us, and those votes disappeared. We don't have election integrity in this country. Trump is bringing it up. There is some truth to it. And every single voter, every single American should be concerned about the fact is that we lack paper ballots, lack real working machines, again, a lack of election integrity and so much more. The fact that you have a scumbag like Trump even addressing it, the Democrats can lose to this man, and they know it. They know they can lose, and they don't have a leg to stand on. And AOC and everybody else in the DNC establishment is panicking because they are making themselves irrelevant. All that song and dance about being a fighter, being resistance, or bringing in social democracy, they can't do it because they have no soul or heart. That's the truth of it.
All right. So I'll play some more.
To know too much about history to realize, or geography, to realize that they're a little bit more affected than we are, okay? So they've got to put up a lot more money because they're taking advantage of us like every other country did. That's why I ended NAFTA
really
and replaced it with the USMCA, Mexico,
But on
Canada.
this issue, Mr. President, I should know, I don't know any Democrats who have said they don't believe Putin would have been invaded if you were president. But her question is, would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
I have a very good relationship with President Zelensky because, as you know, he backed me up with the phony impeachment hoax number one when he said the president didn't do anything wrong. So
That was
I
when
happen
you
to
asked him
like.
for an
So I
investigation in
happen to
exchange
like.
for
Yeah, that's right.
weapons.
And I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that. You were impeached over
Again,
that.
if you could pause it here for a second.
Yeah,
if you could pause it
absolutely.
here. Again, you know, here's the thing that the Democrats and corporate media holds on. Impeachment, impeachment, impeachment. Okay, Trump was impeached, but he didn't make it to the second phase, and that is for the jury hearing in the Senate. This impeachment means nothing. He wasn't put on trial before the U.S. Senate. The House of Representatives can vote to impeach somebody, but the Senate is the judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
So all of this means crap. Impeach, it's like saying, oh, Kit, you stepped in some dog crap the other day. Yeah, but I cleaned it off. All right, whatever. Trump's fine. 2 impeachments. Nothing happened to the man.
Another point is, once again, as I said earlier in this debate, or town hall, it's pretty much a debate the way she handled it.
Yeah, it wasn't a town hall.
Who are they winning over? Who's not already Team Democrat with this shit? So yes, Trump was impeached, but he was impeached by Democrats. Unless you're a Democrat and you're on their team, you don't give a fuck about that. Well, who's an independent voter that like I'm undecided, and then they hear that Trump was impeached? Oh man, he was impeached. Gotta vote for Jim Crow Joe. No independent mind that way, or at least a very insignificant amount, right?
All right. Okay, a little more seconds and then we can end it here because it's very short. But there's one more thing he says that is just terrible for this to show the contrast on Ukraine.
Ukraine weapons
I was
and funding.
impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy
But the
Pelosi.
question
who
here is,
sympathized.
would you give Ukraine weapons and funding if you were
I would
elected?
sit down. Let me just put it a nicer way. If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours.
How would you settle that war in one day?
Because I'll meet with Putin, I'll meet with Zelensky. They both have weaknesses and they both have strengths. And within 24 hours, that war will be settled. It'll be over. It'll be
Do
absolutely
you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
This part right
Okay,
here.
right,
She
yeah.
thinks she got him. Do you want
Yeah.
them to win? She's trying to frame it as that. His answer could not be any better.
Exactly.
He says, no, I'm not taking your framing. This is the framing.
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people and breaking down.
It's over.
Thank you.
Over.
Thank you.
Over.
What do you?
That was it. That was the part I wanted to show again and just show like this is like I thought just simply him having the stance he was gonna win, but if he's articulating and able to rebut questions like this with answers like this is a wrap.
Old Trump could
right
never
here.
do that, dude. There's no way old Trump could pull that off. Trump was an amateur politician, and they in the last 4 years they locked this motherfucker away. Like you can study, you watch Tucker Carlson every goddamn day, you memorize the Ukrainian talking points. Dude, that guy is fucking crushing Marianne Williamson and Joe Biden when it comes on this issue.
Dare I say
He know all the talking points he need to a point where you had a quick rebuttal like that. When I first heard the question, the split second that went in my mind before he answered was like, man, how is Trump gonna answer this? Man, that's a good one. Then he just walked to the side easily. Fuck, dude, that's bad for Democrats. And I've said this many times before, man. Like, I am not looking forward to a Trump presidency. I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Donald Trump. To me, the thought of Donald Trump winning again is like, fuck. Like, we gotta do. I remember the Trump years was so stupid. It was so dumb. It was so ridiculous. And we got to go through it again because the Democratic Party is awful, right? So that's why I'm like, when he answered that, well, like, fuck, it's over. We got to deal with Trump again. It's over. It's a wrap.
There's one thing that's going to annoy me if we get another 4 more years of Trump, and that is there were so many people that I remember following in the early days of Hardlands media that would be organizing these protests, and we actually covered them. And all these protests were pathetic, all of them, because everyone went to brunch. All these protesters would start up somewhere in downtown Chicago, and then go ahead and be at Trump Tower. That's right across from the Chicago River. So they're not in front of Trump Tower. They're across it from the river in the city of Chicago. And these people were not serious. When I did my second documentary earlier in October, The Toxic Tour, one of the people we interviewed, Thomas Frank, who said, we used to have a lot of people come out here and talk about the environmental racism and pollution, but they stopped as soon as Biden got elected into office. So many fake activists, and this is something we got to be careful of. So many fake activists and quote unquote people who are part of the social justice warrior industrial complex, the Bernie Sanders people, are going to be coming out here wanting to dictate control and also dictate to you guys, Hardlands, and everybody else on how we should be organizing and being resistance against Trump. Trump's not the problem. He is the symptom. He is the rash of what's wrong with the body politics in America. And the thing is, yes, he can very well win. Somehow he studied. Maybe he's watching RBN. Maybe he's watching Jimmy Dore, Tucker Carlson. Maybe he's watching Hardlands. I don't know. But he came here prepared, and I will not make the mistake of underestimating him. But unlike TYT or Sam Cedar or corporate media, RBN, Hardlands, Due Dissidence, Jimmy Dore, and everyone else that's being real about covering this election are covering both parties for how fraudulent they are, how abusive they are. And I urge everyone, don't waste your money on these politicians. What is the name of the organization, the community groups that you guys are doing at RBN again? Because I think that's the most useful thing there, save for the citizen ballot initiatives. No, it's on your website. You guys have brought it up. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting it right
the
now.
library, you mean the library that we're working on?
There's that, and you guys are there's that, the chapters, and I think there was one other thing here too. I apologize if I'm not getting it correct.
Tour for the poor. I don't know.
Yes.
It could be a bunch, so many different
well,
things.
Okay. Well, you guys got a whole treasure. Okay, so there you go. They got a whole treasure trove of stuff at RBN. You want to really contribute? That's how you contribute in building real grass movements. Nothing connected to Washington, D.C. Because anything connected to these politicians is a waste of your time and money. Donate to the library. Donate to the community groups. Support citizen ballot initiatives. Support third parties. Yeah. Because obviously, if you want to just be disappointed, go ahead, support a politician. But you're not doing anything relevant.
Hey, peep this. This is a great comment by Zoya's Love.
Yes.
Zoya's Life. Trump is good for activism. He pisses libs off. Biden and the squad pacifies them. Biden squad pacifies them. I will add the squad part too, because Bernie is already pacifying the shit out of people.
I said this.
Go ahead, CJ.
I said this before he was elected. I was like, I would prefer, if I had to pick, I would prefer Trump to win because it would keep the liberals on the battlefield. And I said, if he loses, then they're gonna all go to brunch. That's exactly what they all did.
But don't you find that problematic though?
It was obvious. Go ahead, kid. We all said that was gonna happen.
Yeah, but don't you find it problematic though? Because as soon as you have the liberals in, they're gonna start doing the distracting policies and attacks. They're gonna start dictating. Well, here's how we should be running the organization. Here's how we should be resisting Trump, because it's all gonna be on Trump. You can't do anything about Democrats. They're all gonna be focused. See, a lot of these liberals, they want to be at brunch, and as soon as they see Trump back in office, they're going to be dusting off their walking shoes, thinking that they can command the theater. Can you imagine one of these white liberals coming up to you, CJ, or to Rome, or to you, Nick, and saying, here's what we need to focus about stopping the Republicans, all the while not seeing the bigger picture? I mean, yes, I see the idea, the attraction of having the liberals on the streets, but these people are going to try and push their way into leadership positions and try and control everything. And we got to
We
keep
have
our
to
heads
stand
on a
strong.
swivel.
Yeah.
Exactly,
We gotta-
because
gotta
I've
stand
seen those people, a lot of those activists, and they piss me off to no end because they're not serious. Every time I would question them, or Daniel and I would question them, and they would kind of give me the smile like, oh, we got a plan. And then they just fucked off and wasted my time.
Now,
Screw that.
I'm going to show you guys exactly why Zoya and CJ is probably right. Because as we predicted, I told progressives this, like, the liberal, like progressives like Voss, they were like, man, liberals, they can work with us. No. These motherfuckers are waiting for you to give away your power, vote for the Democratic Party, and their ass going to go to sleep and abandon your issues. The Black Lives Matter movement started under Obama. Barack Obama killed the anti-war movement. Joe Biden killed the Me Too movement. Like, the Democratic Party is where movements go to die. Remember when liberals, not only just leftists, but liberals were concerned about Trump's harsh immigration policy. Do you guys remember where AOC, when she was crying, she had a photo out where she would pretend she was crying? All hands was on deck on immigration when Trump was the president. Now Joe Biden is president, and Bernie Sanders endorsing that motherfucker because he's a scumbag. How will you react if someone you like endorsed Trump? People will call them out. Why is people okay with Bernie Sanders endorsing Joe Biden? And as that comment I put up earlier, Biden is objectively worse than Trump if you have any sort of principles. Now I'm going to explain why. For all the people who care about kids in cages. And this is also why I said at the beginning of the stream, when Trump was pretending that Biden is laying the border open, Democrats are weak on immigration. Nah, son. Biden puts you to shame. Biden puts Trump to shame on how he treats immigrants and his deportation. Now I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this for you guys. For the few shit-lived blue MAGA people who in the chat who found the stream, who think they're nice and liberal because they support Jim Crow Joe over Donald Trump. I'm gonna explain to you guys what exactly the fuck you're voting for. The white supremacist, racist scumbag you're voting for. This is Joe Biden. Just before the day the expo opened, they talking about the border expo that was extremely excited about Joe Biden. The Biden administration put out a fiscal year 2023 budget, which proposed $97.3 billion for DHS, the largest in the agency's 2-decade history. But remember when AOC was like, abolish ICE part DHS, and Biden is funding that to record profits. But tell me more how you find white supremacy by voting for Joe Biden. Now I'm gonna read this part. It continue. It get worse. The custom and border protection part of that, $17.5 billion, will be the most money that agency has ever received. And if you're a Trump fan watching this, because we got blue MAGA, I see some Trump people here. If you think that Trump is stronger on the border than Biden, your boy is weak compared to Biden. Stop repeating this nonsense. He's spending more than Trump did. Both sides are filled with fucking morons.
Nick, you're shocking these new people, man. I just put up. We have over 100 people new subscribed. Like, you're shocking these people. They're like, what are these people saying here? What are these people saying here? Like, we are post duopoly. We don't support the red blue game. A lot of people balls and strikes. They're confused. They're like, what the fuck is going on this stream here? Go ahead, Nick.
They very confused.
So funny.
You don't understand. Post-duopoly, both sides are shit. Both sides have no idea. Like, and they lie. Like, let me continue this because this exposes the lie that comes from both Republicans and Democrats. Where Democrats believe they are standing for immigrants, they are more kind and comparing than Trump. And then you have Trump supporters who pretend Biden has an open border, probably the dumbest people in politics. The custom and border protection part, they get $17.5 billion. That's the most money that agency ever received. You hear me, Republicans? Nearly $1.5 billion more than last year. So ICE, their budget was increased as well. They're getting $8.5 billion. Now, if you combine those two, when you combine border and custom enforcement, and you combine ICE, that leads to $26 billion. That's the highest sum. You guys hear me? The highest sum ever dedicated to the border. So, right-wingers, how is that open borders? Please explain to me. Liberals, please explain to me how you find white supremacy. Both of you guys are idiots. You guys realize Biden spent $26 billion, Trump $20 billion. Now I got one more receipt because this is new. I didn't get a chance to really fully break this down yet. I may do a full stream on it. But Biden administration has been employing Trump-style immigration tactics this entire time. President Biden has distorted the meaning of safe third country to broadly bar asylum eligibility. The same thing Trump did. Reviving one of his predecessors' most harmful and illegal policies. That's why Bernie Sanders is a scumbag. You guys understand? Bernie Sanders endorsed this guy. Now, if you think
right
I'm being
away,
too
too.
harsh,
Right away.
right away. If you guys think I'm being too harsh on Bernie Sanders, that scumbag, that white supremacist enabling scumbag, how would people react if Bernie Sanders endorsed Donald Trump in 2020? That's what it is. Why are we not seeing that the same thing? Anyone who's on Team Jim Crow Joe is an enemy of RBN. I'm ranting like a motherfucker. You guys have anything else you want to add?
Yeah,
DD said this is when you're at your best. This is when Nick is at his best right here. Go ahead, kid.
We got super chats as well, but go ahead, kid.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, first of all, I know you guys definitely read the super chats because let's face it, you got a great audience here, and Hardlands is happy to collaborate with you guys. Real quick, I want to throw out this hypothetical question to you because the DNC has to see that now they're in trouble. And if Biden truly is having the mental fallout, as I think he is, because I've had 4 relatives suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia. I know what it looks like. I've seen the signs. I know the body language. Hell, Dianne Feinstein is signaling it like a goddamn traffic light. But let's ask this. Let's just say Biden is not the spring chicken, and let's say something were to happen to where he's not in the race anymore, or he just bows out for some medical reason. If Bernie Sanders were to throw his hat in the ring, what is your first initial response?
Are you talking about me? It's the same. It's the same as Marianne Williamson throwing her hand in the ring.
No, but it is something serious because they have to have somebody because Trump is on point. Biden can't do it. They have to be having that conversation right now in the war room. They have to. It's like that situation you see in those suspense drama films where we got a problem. The original plan's not going to work, and everyone's there shocking. You could hear a pin drop, and no one knows what to do. I tell you what, my response is: gee, Bernie, how come you're not trusting in your good friend Joe? What makes you think that you could do it anymore? Because I know that Bernie Sanders, being the cuck that he is just going to once again bow out to whoever the establishment fraud's going to be. But that's how unserious the Democrats are. So I would say to both Marianne Williamson and RFK Jr., you have no incentive whatsoever to be nice to Biden, but you won't get my support because you're Democrats, and knowing Democrats, they're going to bow down to the super delegates and the establishment. Yeah, I mean, hell, RFK Jr. said the CIA is filled with good people. Good people in the CIA.
Jesus fucking Christ. But I'm gonna explain this to you. I'm gonna explain this. This town hall, they would never say it. Ever say it. Ever. This town hall was the best thing that ever happened to CNN. Best thing that ever happened to MSNBC. Best thing that happened to New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is back, baby. He's back in the prime time. They have been struggling big time, guys. They've been, but you look how much CNN has been struggling this last few years. So many people being released, historically low ratings, CNN plus disaster. Trump is back, son. And now fundraising is back. Democrats, fundraising is back. AOC can't wait to fundraise. Joe Biden apparently tweeted a fundraising link immediately during the debate. Liberals don't give a fuck if Trump wins again. They will never say it, but they are hoping this motherfucker win high key. That is what I believe. You guys believe it, chat? I think they don't give a fuck. If Biden wins, don't get me wrong. If Biden wins, that's great. That's great. But if Trump wins, nigga, money is back, baby. Money is back.
We gonna be all right.
We gonna get people all right.
Be like, hey, you guys got $25. We'll do something about that Medicare for all thing. Just give me that $25 and vote Democrat. I promise I'll do something. I promise I'll do productive stuff with that $25. Give me the $25.
I'm sorry, my bad, but this is a good point. I literally just saw this. I was scrolling Twitter for last few funny receipts. This is from an account I actually hate in wokeness, but this is a great point. Could you imagine Biden do a town hall with Donald? No, can you imagine Biden doing a town hall with Tucker Carlson?
Oh, that's elder abuse. I
Oh
don't
my
want to see
God.
that.
Dude, oh my God! Like
Oh,
that would
that'd be
be
sad.
a fucking slaughter. A slaughter. Meanwhile, Trump goes to enemy territory. That's a great point. And that
Yeah.
shows how fucked they are. Once again, I actually hate this account. You guys know how I feel about the wokeness bullshit. I hate this account, but that's a good point.
But the thing is, not only did Trump go into enemy territory, he conquered it.
Yeah.
He conquered it.
He
Conquered it.
destroyed
That, them would never do that. I'll give Bernie.
Morning
Bernie's probably the
Joe
only person that
Cope
can do that.
tomorrow. Morning Joe Cope tomorrow is gonna
Oh, I
be
can't
like
wait. Oh, I can't
midnight.
wait.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
We'll get the super chat soon, guys. Don't worry. We get super chat soon. I'm just scanning. Anything else that you guys seen? Any other takes that you guys have? We get the super chats. I'm thinking super chats.
No, we can get the super chats if you're ready.
Yeah,
just one last note. Just one last note on this, folks. No matter what, however you're living your life right now, do not let any of these jagoffs on social media browbeat or yell at you or try and tell you got to vote for Biden. You stand strong and firm. You
wait.
owe these MFers not a goddamn thing. And if anything, if they give you any more problems, just say, hey, what about that cat named Vagina? That's about it. And just the fact that he said that, I mean, come on. That's just, folks, we live in a clown show. Don't worry about being bullied. You push right back. You slap in their goddamn mouth. You ask them who the hell you're talking to.
Right.
You don't owe the DNC Democrats
I
vote
can't
Blue
wait,
Squad
kid.
a goddamn thing. Neither can I.
I can't.
Neither
Do
can
you
I.
guys realize that? Like, I had like maybe 15,000 followers because of my work on the Bernie campaign. Because I co-founded 10 Demands. I was like, I was an activist around 15,000 followers. After Super Tuesday, when the entire left was trying to get people to vote for Joe Biden, I was the loudest motherfucker on Twitter saying, fuck you. And I'm going to say that again. I gained like 40,000 followers literally just that one, because everyone was like, you guys are out of your goddamn mind. And that was the great neutering of the left on Twitter. We talk about it many times. Like, post Super Tuesday Twitter was some of the most depressing shit you see on the left, because you've seen so many people cuck and fold. Countless people that I have since cut me off and vice versa. When they like, I know that I don't like Joe Biden, but Donald Trump's so scary. So I promise you, I don't like Biden, but I'm gonna vote for Joe Biden. And then they get thousands of liberals likes, and they're like, yeah, see, this is one of the good ones. I was like, hell no, loud as hell. And that's where you had those Karen white women that would call me Uncle Tom, all this racist bullshit. Because I was like, there's no way in fucking hell you are convincing me to vote for Crime Bill Jim Crow Joe, Bankruptcy Bill Jim Crow Joe, Patriot Act Jim Crow Joe, Iraq War Jim Crow Joe. The list goes on and on and on. There is no fucking way. And these same people, the Bernie Sanders squad in their industrial complex, they're going to try and tell black people and other workers to vote for Jim Crow Joe again. And I can't wait to say fuck you to them. I cannot wait.
Hey, I'll be right there with you, man. Because I'm I'm gonna ask all these liberals who are just so concerned. I'll be like, where were you the last 4 years?
Exactly.
Where were you? Were you at brunch? Oh my goodness, you got some crap on your mouth right there. Come on, wipe that off. Oh, that's not food. Oh, you're just sucking DNC cock. Oh, good on you. There you go. I don't want to be nice to these people. I want to give these people a middle finger. Screw
I'm
the
not
liberals.
getting, yeah, hell yeah. That's big energy. That's big energy.
In fact, I encourage it from the audience too. Slap these liberals in the goddamn mouth.
As post-duopoly leftists, we gotta be militant in our position. In like the same way, like imagine someone challenged us on Medicare fraud. Like how militant you would be against someone who okay with people dying without health care. That's how I feel when people try to convince me to vote for a two-party duopoly. You out of your goddamn mind, and you're gonna get we're gonna be aggressively telling no to you guys, just to say it plainly. So we got a few super chats here, so let me get through them. Feel free to leave some chats, and we can make sure we star them before we get out tonight. If you have any comments that you guys want to have featured, this is our homie, friend of the show, Black in the Empire. Thank you for $2, brother. Biden won, and they chased Haitians on horseback. By the way, you guys know.
I forgot that.
You guys know that Joe Biden deported more Haitians, black people, anti-black policies. Joe Biden deported more Haitian people in his first year than Donald Trump did his entire term. Do you guys hear what the fuck I said? Joe Biden deported more Haitians in 1 year than Donald Trump did in 4. Tell me more about your lesser of two evils. But white leftists don't give a fuck about the Haitians, don't give a fuck about the Cubans, don't give a fuck about the Venezuelans. If you're not white, you're not in the suburbs, they don't give a fuck about you. And I need people to understand that. I need people to understand that the Bernie Sanders industrial complex and the people who support the Democratic Party that implemented anti-black policy against the Haitian people do not give a fuck about you at all. Bernie does not give a fuck about you. That's why I want to get super chats, because I know they're going to make me rant. Thank you for the 199 Franklin, Robert K, Micah Fred. Why would he tweet that? Jesus fucking Christ. I feel like he's going to fucking drop the ball, guys. Like if he tweeting cringe like that already, not looking good for the boy. But anyway, let's thank you for the super chat, Franklin. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss any other ones. This is a solidarity super chat. Thank you, Joe. Excellent stream. RBN also joined with Kit from Harlan's Media. Make sure you guys check out Harlan's Media.
We're going to be talking about this in the morning, 9 a.m. Central. Tune in, because God, folks, to start your morning off right. Call off work tomorrow, folks.
Yeah,
put some whiskey, smoke a bowl, do some shrooms. You know what? Because call off work. Because you know what? You deserve it. All of you deserve it.
I'm like the liberal code tomorrow is going to be
It's
glorious. It's absolutely glorious. Morning Joe is going to be a much watch tomorrow.
Oh man, CNN, MSNBC are just like, you know, they probably got a secret boner because like, oh God, it's finally back. Trump's giving it back to us, baby. We're getting the views again. They're getting those eyeballs because they need it. They need it. They need it like a drug.
Yeah, well said. Thank you for the 499 Franklin. Trump is winning in 2024. I can feel that most people want it. Don't know what that means. This is Trump who wants to win different. Only thing I would correct, because I agree at this point, especially now that Trump is going to win, most people don't want it. We got to remember that. Trump is going to win, but this is going to be the most depressed turnout election, the same way the last one was. Like Biden, Trump too. People are going to be like, fuck that shit. So Trump is going to win because Trump going to get 22% of the population. Biden might get 20. People keep forgetting that most people don't fucking vote. Only 42% of black people voted in the midterms. Most people don't fucking vote. Most people are independent. So I want to say that most people want it. I'll just say that he's going to get the most independence. He'll rally his base, and the people who kind of like barely pay attention, I think he's going to win that way. But we got to be clear that it's not the majority of the population sees through this sham. That's a great super chat. I just want to add that part. I'm going to see. I think I saw 2 more super chats, so I'm going to read those before I miss them. Thank you for the 499 Melody. God bless RBN. This was fun. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I had a good time, man.
Oh, I had
now
fun.
Like we talk about a lot of depressing ass shit, but we are allowed to talk about some fun shit sometimes. And it's
they're sad. I'm watching the post CNN. They're Anderson Cooper, they are in shambles. They are in shambles. Like his lip is quivering. His lip is quivering. Like he is in shambles right now.
I was wondering what you were watching. Oh man, I cannot wait to see the clip.
No, I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. There's a post show. I was like, wait a minute. There's a post show. Let me see what they're saying. So I'm muting myself.
Hold on, CJ.
Let me see what this is.
CJ, show running 101. You can't promise a good people. You can't promise a good time like that to the people when you got to show it to us, man.
I can show it to you. I have it up, so I can show it to you. Yeah,
I gotta see him cry, please.
If you can,
I'm begging you.
Yeah, like if you can see his lip like close up. So let me fast forward to the part because this is still the debate, right? And it literally goes right into them. Oops, I went too far. Right about
this
here.
is gonna be beautiful.
They start to cut in right. Let me make sure. Right about here.
All right.
Let me see. Anderson Cooper's going to cut in.
All right.
You're looking there at St. Anselm College in Manchester, New Hampshire. Tonight's CNN Town Hall, moderated by Caitlin Collins, the first of the 2024.
Wait till Jake Tapper joins.
Leading from New York.
Oh, from Washington, it was an interesting night. Mr. Trump's first lie was told just seconds into the night with his false familiar claim that the 2020 election was, quote, a rigged election. And the falsehoods kept coming fast and furious about the January 6th threat to Vice President Pence's ability to overturn the election, about COVID, about the economy, and more. He called a black law enforcement officer a thug. He said people here in Washington, D.C. at Chinatown don't speak English. He attacked Caitlyn as a nasty woman because she was trying to get him to answer a question. Perhaps most chillingly, the day after a
So do they
nine-person
expect the
jury
average
disappears
voter
in
to
New
be as
York.
triggered as they are? Like, so I'll let it continue. But so the person who's struggling to pay the bills, the person who don't have health care, aka me, I don't have health care, guys. So the person who have no health care, the person who's living paycheck to paycheck, is supposed to be triggered by this shit.
No, I'm not. I don't care. I don't care if they're triggered.
This
Jeez
shit is
Louise.
hilarious. Then melting down. Let's continue.
He's not letting it go, and that is something that was very much on display for the entire country and the entire world to see.
Oh, I could
And
feed
as
off
usual
this.
with Trump, I mean, this is a person who is so steeped in his own conspiracy theories. It's hard to know whether he can even see his way out of them. I mean, being confronted time after time with just plain facts about the fact that his campaign asked for recounts, that they found no election fraud, even going into January 6th. I mean, it really, if you are steeped in the conspiracy theories around this stuff, you would still probably need a map to get around what he said tonight. And I think that is an encapsulation of.
Bro, you need a map to figure out what the fuck they were talking about with Russiagate. Bro, Russiagate was so ridiculous. And like, you heard what Michael Cohen did, you heard this. Like, nigga, what the fuck y'all talking about? That was Russiagate. And if you're watching this and you're not post-duopoly left yet, I want you guys to understand both parties push conspiracy theories.
I could feed off this.
You gotta skip around. Let me just tell you, it's literally like 30 minutes long and they're still going. So I only played you like 2 minutes. And it's like 7 people on the panel, Kit and Nick. I'm telling you, you're probably gonna do a segment on it. If you go watch this entire thing, you probably do a segment on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna Washington's Cope is gonna be great, man. This is gonna be great. Let's continue with Super Chat. There's still gonna be much to say. Thanks for the 999 Alda. This is a solidarity super sticker. Much support. I'll try to find. I think I left off right here. Thanks for $5, Janice. Watch Blue MAGA libs flip on a dime if Trump wins again. All in a sudden, they will be calling the election integrity and
true.
That's why the dumbest people you find in politics are the AOC liberals who be like, how dare Trump deny the election? Like, bro, how can your amnesia be this bad? It was less than 10 years ago. Only a few elections ago where you guys were saying that Russia hacked the election. Whatever the fuck that means.
You know what I just realized? What else will be delicious to watch? Chicago, great one. I'm giving you credit for this one in the election chat. OMG, can you imagine the meltdown from TYT that will be covering this tomorrow? Oh, that's gonna be a delicious steak dinner. Just enjoy it. Filet mignon. Just eat it up. No. That's gonna be delicious.
Has anything ever backfired more in the history of man than Cenk Uygur doing #LoserDonald?
Well, I could one up you on this one, Nick. I remember when Cenk, before even the 2015 election, when Cenk infamously said on TYT, "We're gonna ban never talking about Donald Trump." I remember that. Yeah, he said that, and now that's all he can talk about. That's his drug. He needs it too. He needs that orange Cheeto more than anything.
Imagine taking an L that bad. So this is a great comment by Janice. Thank you for $5. This is another one. Thank you for $5. Hosting audience questions. Abortion, border wall, immigration, gun, January 6th, litigations, working class issues are never addressed. Great intelligence comment. That remember, guys, it's always class wars. Nothing but pushing culture war, political drama, and both presidents and both parties do not have the best interest of the American worker at heart. So that's a great super chat. I think for $2, Mosaic. Trump 2024, he's to the left on war than Marianne Williamson. The one thing that's so embarrassing to say, I strongly disagree with the Trump 2024 because we post duopoly left, But that's why Marianne Williamson is so dangerous, because she is literally, she is so bad that she is giving credence to the idea that the left is pro-war. So when people were like, why are you guys so upset about Marianne? Why are you guys not thinking about Marianne? She is hurting the left, you fucking idiots. You guys see what she tweeted today? She got racial today because she was spreading Putin derangement syndrome nonsense.
You know what? That's on her. That's on her. And the thing is, look, I remember us talking about this yesterday, but I shared that photo with you guys. It is official. She really did officiate. I mean, I know that those Jagoffs from Vanguard said it, but now there's that photo video out there too. And even I had to look at it not once but twice, but that is a sitting presidential candidate. And now if the game is truly on, that woman has no chance whatsoever to be relevant in politics. If she could be ratioed that easy and be called out by not only you guys, but even by Mr. Nixon, who's running for Congress, then you know what? She's not ready for the game. She's not a serious candidate. She's a fraud, and she's just a wannabe Biden who's just knows how to write some self-help guru books, and that's all that Marianne Williamson will be known for.
Yeah, and that's my point. Like, because I see right wingers, I see independents that saying the left is pro-war now, right? And then when we hear that, we like, sir, what the fuck you talking about? Then here comes Marianne Williamson to prove them fucking right. And you guys think that, oh, it's just an innocent project, RBN, just an innocent. No, she is here to embarrass and emasculate the left the same way that Bernie and AOC did. So if Marianne Williamson in the fancy land ever won the primary and debated Trump, she will get spat out alive on Ukraine, and people will be like, man, the left position is really pro-war. That's what Marianne Williamson is doing. She's trash, but thank God she's not going to make it. I saw a poll where she was only at 3%. She's only at 3%. And she's begging to debate Joe Biden. And I replied to her today when she made one of the tweets begging to debate Joe Biden. I'm like, man, Marianne Williamson, you need to be asking to debate RFK Jr. because that boy ended your campaign immediately, dead on arrival, as we predicted on RBN. We said Marianne Williamson was dead on arrival, and people said, come on, RBN, you killing our vibes. Anyway.
I don't want to see another Bernie Sanders movement, because all it is just sheepdogging people into a corrupt neoliberal party. We owe nothing to the Democrats. We owe nothing to the establishment. And I'm not going to waste any of our time promoting a two-party system that's designed to keep us in poverty, in war, and in medical and student bankruptcy. Screw that. I owe them nothing, and none of you owe them anything either. We don't owe these people anything.
This is a great tweet from Johnny Grass, a good friend. He said, anyone wondering if Trump killed it at the CNN town hall need only look at the number of shit libs soiling themselves over his appearance. So he got a few examples, guys. And I only seen from what I was able to skim live. I cannot wait to just digest the tears tonight. But look, here's a few. Here's Simon Rosenberg. CNN puts a second election denier on television tonight. A dark night for CNN. Jack Cochelia. I am disgusted by CNN. CNN spit in the face of journalism tonight. CNN spit in the face of democracy tonight. I would never watch CNN ever again. This is something now. I would never watch CNN again because before this, CNN was trustworthy. There are a few more. And I'll continue with the super chats. Oh, this AOC, we already read that one, and they were making fun of her. Oh, Mehdi Hassan. Oh, let's go. As the interview ends, Jake Tapper, as ever, is eloquently summarizing how dishonest and racist and crass Trump was and how the audience laughed along. The question then is, why did CNN give him a platform to do all that? I don't know, Mehdi, you fucking brainlet. Maybe because it's their job to interview the leading presidential candidate, you fascist.
Why the hell is he even talking? Because it's because of this MFer that Matt Taibbi was even put at risk of being prosecuted and going to jail because Mehdi Hassan can't do his goddamn job. MSNBC is no better than CNN. This dude's talking. He needs to shut up and he needs to steal his lunch money. That's what I need to do.
Man, this shit's so funny. I can't wait to see all the reactions, man. Like, did people are melting? Super chat.
Glorious.
Black Empire again. I read this as I saw it. Same people that spent 7 years saying Trump didn't really win in 2016 because of Putin.
And now they're saying that he could win. Notice that.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
God, this election cycle is gonna be beautiful. Enjoy it, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you for $5, R&J. All the stage questions so far are just to throw meat into the culture war, and the host just trying to ask got you question. Absolutely, this is what we said before. That these town halls, and I know this all the time, they do their best to avoid working class issues. Best to avoid working class issues. And they also do their best to avoid issues they know they agree on, because they try to create this illusion that bipartisanship is rare. Let me tell you guys this, two-party duopoly simps. Whenever you hear someone say, bipartisanship is so rare, no, the fuck it's not. Every police budget extension is bipartisan. Every military budget is bipartisan. Corporate bailouts is bipartisan. Bipartisan shit happens every day in Washington, but when it happens, it's screwing the workers. So that's why they didn't ask about China. They didn't ask about China because like, why would we ask about China? We all know they're the same on this shit.
We agree on that one.
We agree on that shit, right? So that's the scam. Feel free to interrupt anytime, guys. You guys super chats are always fire, always very thought provoking. That will lead to the rant. National debt equal economy surplus, which the federal government pays with keystrokes, not tax dollars, and that's modern monetary theory. That you're quoting as well. So I need to have a good MMT guest. It's been quite a while. We had him. We had a few interviews with MMT people. I need to do it again. Thank you for $10, Mercy. I think we're getting close to the beginning. I remember seeing.
Yeah.
It. Thank you for the $10. Trump has no filter. I can respect that. And this is what the decorum, civility, politics, liberals will never understand. Will never. So I don't like Trump, and a lot of people don't like Trump. But when liberals are like, oh my God, Trump is so rude. Trump is so mean. Trump, you can't believe Trump said that. You guys are bringing up the least of our concerns. If anything, that's the good part. They're like, you should hate Trump because he's mean. No, that's the only good part about him. The only good part to me.
In my opinion, he's the only transparent president we've ever had in years. He told us the truth. Hey, why are we in Syria? Because we're here for the oil. Every other president would be like freedom and helping the people. No, we're not here for the people. We're here for the oil. Come on. Get out of here.
And then the best Trump quote ever was when they say, why won't you condemn Vladimir Putin because he's a war criminal? You're like, do you think we're so innocent, bro? You know how many people we killed? I'm like, oh, this is why they don't like the guy. Anyway, thanks for $5. Thanks for streaming this dude. I did not want to watch the boutique left stream just to enjoy the circuit. Absolutely why I did it. Why you guys think our name is called Revolutionary Blackout? We're blocking out corporate propaganda. So I want to do this stream so you guys can get a Marxist leftist point of view on this bullshit instead of going TYT and they probably crying, liberal media crying, they buy. It's like, no, nigga, this shit. As a Marxist, I'm speaking for myself here. As a Marxist, I take advantage of divisions in capital as Lenin describes and said we should do. So whenever I see these clown shows that will only drive people away from that and probably towards more class conscious politics, that is worth discussing. That is worth exposing. And liberal and establishment, even independent media won't do that. So I'm glad to offer another alternative for you guys. Thank you for the solidarity super chat, GV Black. And I think I saw.
Seriously, double check you're still subscribed too, because again, the YouTube censorship, knowing AOC, she's going to be demanding more accountability on social media. It's going to be worse. So please double check and triple check. Not only you still subscribe to RBN, but Jimmy Dore, Hardlands Media, and everybody else, because I still get messages from people saying, hey, I'm not being notified. Hey, I was just unsubscribed. It happens. And there's nothing any one of us can do about it. It's unfortunately very real in independent media. So please double check and triple check you're still subscribed. So that way you're aware.
So I'll play the last few super chats here. I'll just start real quick. I saw 4 new ones. These are going to be last 4 I'm going to read before we sign off. Just give you guys a heads up. Curious to know how you define middle class. I am so grateful that you asked this question. I am a Marxist. This capitalist construct known as the middle class does not exist, guys. What? What do you say, Nick? Let me explain. You guys know that people who make anywhere around $20,000 a year to $200,000, $500,000 a year, when polls ask them, "Are you part of the middle class?" There are people who make $20,000, $25,000 a year. They say, "Yeah, I'm part of the middle class." And then the petite bourgeoisie who makes $500,000, they be like, "I'm middle class." Middle class is a completely made up construct by capitalists. You are a worker or you're a part of management bourgeoisie class, period. Period. So they create this made up distinction where we're going to have the fake made up numbers about the middle class, right? All these people part of the middle class. They got people who part of the middle class who can't afford health care. How does that make sense? Second Thought had a great video where he breaks down on how this whole thing about the middle class is a myth. And all the people who think they're middle class, you are only one medical emergency away from not being quote unquote middle class. So according to polls, most Americans have no idea what middle class is. It does not exist. You're a worker. You're a worker, understand? You're not middle class. You're not upper class. You're a worker, and we need to fight for our fair labor value. Do not buy into this nonsense. Anyway, I need that's a great question. Anyway, I'll move on because I can rant on this all day. As Marxists generally don't believe in that bullshit. That's one last thing. They mention middle class and they talk about middle class all the time, so people don't talk about the poor. So people don't consider themselves poor. People don't consider it's a giant scam I can talk about all day, but I'll move on. Thank you for the $2. CNN journalist, corporate narrative network, Raiden Meti. Thank you for the $2. Marvin, I think we got 2 more super chats, then we closing down tonight. Thank you for the $5. Stephen. Ask Marianne to provide that list of Black leaders. I really need to know who she got as my leader. Let me see. I'm not sure.
Wait, she said that to you guys on her? I forgot that she said that. Did she say it to you guys on your show?
No, I don't know. I'm not sure what the reference is here, but I do appreciate the super chat. I don't know, not quite sure.
Oh my God.
But thank you for the $5, Joe. In the end, even the liberal class would choose fascism over empowering the left wing and organized labor, said the powerful Chris Hedges. Well said. Thank you for 499. Abby Phillip allowed Elizabeth Warren to lie about Bernie Sanders, saying a woman couldn't be president. Is that the same person?
No, I think that's Catlin who was hosting the
Okay. Abby, well, they talking about. Well, anyway, thank you for super chat. I remember that. And then that was like one of the biggest signs that Bernie was a cuck, and he knew he was gonna sell people. Dude, I still remember I was part of the Bernie campaign, and I was fucking furious. This one, like, I started turning against Bernie while I was in that motherfucker. I was like, you guys are making so many mistakes. You had Elizabeth Warren smear Bernie Sanders as a sexist in one of the most disgusting ways possible, but the Bernie campaign was still being nice to her. Fucking clowns, man. Like, these are the kind of things I saw. Like, man, you guys are fucking idiots, man. I remember, and I'm gonna keep this story short. Actually, I'm not gonna tell a story at all. But I remember when I was part of the Bernie campaign, I was going hard at Elizabeth Warren. Search my tweets in 2000. I was roasting her every day. I remember people in the Bernie campaign like, Nick. Elizabeth Warren, one of our friends, one of our allies.
What?
Yes, I got that all the time within the Bernie campaign. And I'm like, you guys are your fucking mind. She's an enemy. And there was so much tension between me and the Bernie campaign on this. Well, I was going after her consistently. And meanwhile, like, no, she's an ally. Then Elizabeth Warren betrayed them. And things like that is in hindsight, is why I look back like, these niggas never wanted to win. Like, I got a lot of stories on the campaign guy. I got a ton of them. But anyway, I move on. Thank you for $2. It's Howard the Duck. Thank you, Serena, for $2. Damn, we got a few more super chats in here. I think these are the last two. I undercounted. Anyway, Trump suddenly became funny again when all the former Bush aides left his side to join neocon Ron's camp. A coincidence, I'm sure. One big in 2020, Trump was lost because he lost Steve Bannon, and he became a fucking shell of himself compared to 2016. And I said there was a tweet. I don't want to dig it up because I'm sure you guys believe me, but there was a tweet before the election where I was like, dude, there are a lot of people that think Trump is going to win, but I don't see it. This guy is not the same fucking person. And I said that before the election. Look, search the tweet if you want to. I think you guys believe me. But I told people, like, dude, I don't think it's just shooing. He's not the same guy.
if he keeps the same energy, what we saw from this town hall, it is over. It is over then. But he's got to keep the same energy, and he's got to command every single town hall debate that he's in. That's all he has to do, and he can win.
Yep. And thank you for the $5. What's left news and analysis. Thank you for $5. Last call for brunch, bitches. Mutual aid. Absolutely. Thank you for the $5. One last one I just saw popped in the last second, and we sign off here. Just mostly a solidarity super chat. This has been supremely enjoyable. Love all of you. I hate the uniparty for the record, but Trump killed it tonight. Liberal tears. And these are things that post-duopoly leftists can say, because people who are Democrats or partisan, they are so brainwashed. They're like, I can't ever give the other side credit ever. We don't support Trump. We don't like the Republican Party, but we also don't like the Democrats, so we don't have to culturally confirm to them. So we are allowed to have neutral, unbiased commentary against Trump. You know, there are a ton of Democrats right now that are like, man, Trump did better than I thought, but they would never say it because if they do, they get crucified by their Democrat followers or whatever. We don't give a fuck. I'm gonna say what I think is going on. If you think I'm being too nice on Trump, irrelevant, because I know I don't support him. Anyway, I think anyone who's not a Democrat would see that Trump killed today, and that's just an objective fact. I started this live stream with the intention, and I'm like, man, there's Trump probably gonna say some stupid shit. I'm gonna roast him. This is gonna be hilarious. No, this motherfucker killed these motherfuckers, man, and that's just an objective fact. Like, Republicans are all over Twitter thanking CNN right now. Meanwhile, liberals are melting down and, as my friend Jaff said, soiling their pants. That alone says everything. Like, if Trump has some bad moments, liberals like, oh, we got him. We got him. You see what he said? They be posting clips like, look at this dumbass Trump.
They got nothing to post. They have nothing to post at all, because they know that this is trouble and that they're going to be dealing with a very different Trump than 2016 and 2020. And Biden, everybody knows. It's like that scene from House of the Dragon. I bring up this scene a lot, but it's from House of the Dragon, where the king is confronting everyone saying, how dare you say my daughter's children are not legitimate? And in House of the Dragon, the Valerians, that house Valerian, they're played by black actors, right? And the thing is, the queen has an affair with a white guy, so none of the kids are his. They have an affair, and the king says, "How dare you say my daughter's children are not legitimate? She's not having an affair on her husband." And her son just says to the king's son says to him, "Father, everybody knows. We all know, and so every single liberal knows that Biden doesn't have what it takes. Biden can't make it on the debate stage. Biden can't talk. Biden can't speak. His approval ratings are low. Everybody knows. Everybody knows, and there's nothing that the vote blue, no matter who machine, can do."
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry to do it to you. Sorry to do it to you guys. And I'll play this video.
Oh no!
This guy said,
"Oh,
they already mauled and over." Let me see. I don't know what he said, but I'm actually curious because I love roasting these motherfuckers. This guy is the most unhinged guy you will ever see on Twitter. If you're not, this guy is the most hilarious liberal profile. Let's see what he had to say, and then we can wrap
Nancy Pelosi, Biden's policies, the border, abortion, and all of his ongoing criminal investigations, including further defaming E. Jean Carroll without interrupting him or fact-checking him. Granted, she's tried to interrupt him, but Donald Trump has bulldozed her and bullied her because that's what he does. But that is what we've warned CNN would happen, but they didn't heed the warnings because they are so desperate for ratings. And now we have an underprepared and unqualified journalist, Caitlin Collins, who is allowing a deadly insurrectionist to spread right-wing propaganda without any fact checks. It's a disgrace to our country, and it's a threat to our democracy. Shame on you, Caitlin Collins, and shame on you, CNN.
How dare you insult my wife?
Like, this is go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Kit. Go ahead.
No, I'm just upset he's insulting my ex-wife. I mean, come on, man, my future ex-wife. I mean, dude, take it easy, bro. I could fix her. I could fix her.
I don't buy that as a real person. That is a complete made up person, just like the lib lady. Not serious at all. Somebody's paying them. They're part of some sort of cutout organization. They're not real people, genuine, authentic people with authentic opinions that's not paid for at all.
Yeah,
I'll buy
absolutely.
that.
And to me, I think that's one of the reasons why I spotlighted because the DNC is writing the script, so you can see the messaging come out of the DNC. This motherfucker got email with exactly what to say. So that's the messaging coming from the Democrat Party is fuck you, CNN. How dare you air our opposition? Which I think is valuable to know. Anyway, CJ, you got a powerful ass stream tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow we got Dan Cohen, who has been doing a lot of great reporting about Haiti.
Good.
And he has another report out again about these regular people. Imagine us. There's gangs in our neighborhood. We're tired. So we just band together and say start taking out the gangs. And that's what's happening in Haiti. These gangs that's been violent now, these neighborhood people, they form this coalition, this movement. They're literally going after gang members, killing them, like using the same methods that they use on people. And he's coming to report that tomorrow. That's tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Very
Eastern, right here.
Is Wyatt joining
We're also
you as
going to
well?
cover. Say again.
Is Wyatt joining you as well?
No, Wyatt is on Wednesday. Wyatt Wednesday.
Okay, my bad. I misread.
Wyatt Wednesday. That show premieres next Wednesday. It is called The End of Empire. This is the one that's tomorrow. Is this one right here?
That's gonna be fire,
We're also
man.
gonna be talking about the Israeli kids. But then there's another one that premieres next week. That's the show with Wyatt Reed. He's another journalist. That's going to be a regular show, or 3 times a month. 1 week he has to be working, and then 1 week, 3 other Wednesdays will be on.
So
make sure you
bi-week.
check that out. That's all international. We're doing foreign policy, international
That's gonna be
stuff,
fire,
like
man.
the latest stuff, any news that he breaks that we're going to be doing on the show. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out tomorrow's stream, and make sure you check out next Wednesday.
Dude, that stream is gonna be so fire, man. I love that new weekly series that you guys have. Wyatt Reed is a wealth of knowledge. That's gonna be a great show.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Make sure
great.
you guys subscribe to Harlan's Media. You're gonna have fun shows. I'll make sure I'll make sure I watch it tomorrow morning.
Oh God!
What you got? Anything you want to plug real quick, kid?
Well, real quick, actually, we're gonna have Dan Cohen on Friday's show in the
Oh,
morning.
awesome.
So not only that, Dan Cohen will be on RBN tomorrow, but it'll be on Hardlands Media
Back-to-back
tomorrow morning on
days.
Friday. So very, very good for him. Also, we will be having a few other programs too happening next week. Really excited for this. Tomorrow morning, tune in at 9 a.m. Central. Call off work. It's time to roast the liberals all day tomorrow. Listen, don't let up. Don't apologize. Call off work. Your boss gives you trouble, just give him the middle finger. Everything's going to be automated anyway. So you know what, folks? Live your best lives and speak truth to power. I once again, thank you, Nick and CJ, for having me on your show. This was an absolute privilege to be part of. I will never forget this. When I am dead and die on my deathbed, a little smile will come to my face just thinking about this.
There's a lot more to come, brother. There's a lot more to come.
You know what? Yeah, and I hope it's
And
just
also,
as
I was talking to a
entertaining.
friend. I was talking to a friend because you still owe me the tour of Chicago pizza. You still got to show me Chicago pizza.
Absolutely. Let's make it
We're gonna do that
happen.
very soon, man. Trust me. We're gonna do that very soon.
We are having the convention here in Chicago, the
Yeah,
Democratic
yeah.
convention,
I
and
might go.
you know what?
man.
We are more than happy to collaborate with all independent media. RBN, you guys could be first in line. Jimmy Dore, everybody else, because this. I hope it's worthwhile. I hope it's not like that cringe fest of '96. We want 1968, not 1996. So there you go.
Yeah, much love to the RBN family for the fantastic turnout. This was a chill RBN nightly hangout, and hopefully you guys kind of feel that way. It was very fun reading all your chats. We talk about a lot of depressing shit like Haiti. That's going to be a depressing topic tomorrow. That's just the nature of what we cover. But it's good to just hang out and able to joke at the absurdity of the two-party duopoly system every once in a while. I know some people hate it whenever we have fun. How dare we have fun sometimes? But hey, I think we need it. I think it's good for our mental health. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure you guys check out the links if you guys want to support our show. Make sure you guys check out Harlan's media as well. Obviously, we don't have a closed video, so I'm just in the stream. Have a good one, guys.